wide world of sports is going on here.
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yeah, buddy.
Hope you're having a good one.
Uh-huh.
A little cooler out.
It's nice.
It is nice.
I woke up with a little chill this morning.
Yeah. I don't recollect seeing much rain here.
There was like,
At least where I was at.
there was like 3 drops.
Yeah.
And I was in Carlsbad for most of yesterday. We didn't get rain over there.
Yeah.
It looked like a lot of wind. I think that we were seeing varying sizes of hail warnings in our text message warnings.
Yeah.
They were saying ping pong, $50 size. I always love the comparisons. Like, yeah, I just imagine there's a table somewhere, just like a bunch of hailstones, probably in like a temperature-controlled environment to keep the hailstones intact, but just like next to a bunch of like household items.
Right.
Like, penny, nickel, dime, and then, tennis ball. There's like a ping pong ball in there somewhere, a football over here.
I picture it different. I pictured a shelf,
Mhm.
and then there's like a marble, a pea, a marble, and it goes up to like softball.
Right.
And then some guy just walks up with one piece of hail and is like, golf ball.
There it is. I'm going to call this lima bean-sized hail.
All right, they just use it to compare. There's got a list of things that
Break
are,
out the chart.
and they're like, it's in between lima bean and
And then when they go,
button.
dime, quarter, $50, I
Uh-huh.
always wonder, okay, are those ones going to be flat? Do we have to watch out for flat hailstones versus rounder hailstones for like a ping pong or tennis ball?
Yeah, the size is,
'Cause
I need more detail.
I've never sat and compared the sizes of a ping pong ball and a $50. I don't know which one's bigger.
Yeah, I guess
The circumference, I figure the circumference of a ping pong ball is bigger,
I would think. I don't know.
but $50 are big. I mean,
I'm in radio.
and how come nobody ever did Sacagawea dollar-sized hail? It's messed up. Oh, by the way, I want to show you something.
Yeah,
I can't really show you on the air. Have you seen the new quarters?
I guess I haven't.
Yeah,
'Cause I didn't know there was new quarters.
They put out new quarters. Hang on. Let me, a pocket full of change here. No, I had one. I saw one this morning.
Is it like
It's a whole new profile. Like Washington is facing a completely different direction. There's one for comparison. Let me find it.
Yeah, see, I didn't know they messed with the quarters
Well,
since the state quarters.
Yeah, somebody pointed it out to me the other
Which
day.
those are gone. Like,
No,
do you
there's-
ever get state quarters?
I used to every now and again, but now they're doing them like different. Okay, so
I don't
here's
see them anymore.
Here's the old quarter, and you can Google this out there in public. Here's the old quarter. Okay.
Okay.
Now I want you to know which direction his head is facing.
All right.
Okay.
He is facing toward the left.
Yeah. There's the new quarters. It's a
look at that.
completely different profile.
It's to the right.
Now, people online were freaking out saying that now he's facing away from the In God We Trust. Note, he was always facing away from In God We Trust. They just put it on a different side.
I do note that, yes.
I had to point that out to somebody like, no, he's not facing away from In God We Trust.
He's always been
He's
facing.
always been facing away from In God We Trust.
Yeah.
So,
And then
Well,
the
yeah.
back's got, what is that?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The state quarters kind of stopped, but they started doing like different new designs. So,
oh,
like,
yes. Well, both of them are different.
Yeah. So like now they're doing like great women in history. They did a line of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think they just get bored at the
The mint?
at the mint. They just get bored with stuff.
I did not notice that.
It's a weird flex. Yeah, he's got 50 cents in his pocket. That's right.
I got 2 quarters.
I'm doing that good. Got 2 quarters to rub against each other.
Yeah, she was saying the same thing, but if you notice, Matter of fact, Andrew sent me a text saying what you just said.
Yeah, the In God We Trust. Yeah.
But I look and they're both the old one. They just put On God We Trust on the other side.
Now there might be something to be construed from the direction that he's facing, and that he was facing to the right before, and now he's facing to the left. Could
political.
be something to that. I don't know. If you want to make something of it, I just think it was like, hey, let's shake up the quarter a little bit. Let's give vagrants who happen to have maybe a little change in their pockets something new to look at.
You think they just didn't accidentally reverse the image on the computer and no one caught it? It just went that way?
Well, it's a totally different hairstyle. Like you see more of his ponytail now.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I still haven't watched Shoresy yet. I need to get on that.
Is it on?
I think so. I keep seeing people saying season 1 review, so I imagine it's got to be.
I have not looked. I'm behind because there's what else that came out on Hulu in the last couple days is the Sex Pistols series.
Right.
About the band. Mm-hmm. And I think they just released it all in one day. They just said, here's the whole series now streaming. Like they just, the last day of May, they said, here you go, and they just put it up there. So.
Well, on my list is I need to do Stranger Things first, but that Shoresy, The Boys starts tomorrow.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're doing it episodic, but it drops tomorrow officially.
They did last time. They episodic.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah. Maybe they'll give you the first 2 or something like that. You know, as a little, hey, welcome to the new season.
Because this
2 episodes.
This is the season I feel like it's really going to it's going to do one of 2 things. They're either going to jump the shark with the season, or this is going to be the best season yet. Because this is the one that everybody, it's like now mainstream the world knows about this show.
Have you watched one of the trailers or any of the trailers for this?
I haven't.
Okay.
I almost kind of want to go in,
Oh, well, then maybe I shouldn't say what I'm about to say.
Say it.
I have watched the trailer.
Okay.
And I don't know the whole premise of the story, but they do tell in that there's a pill that normal people can take that gives them super people powers.
So they figured out a way to harness it.
Because the main guy, I can't remember his name, dude with the beard that women swoon over.
Oh, the British guy?
Yeah.
Him, the main boy?
He gets superpowers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they show some stuff where he's doing superpower stuff.
Because I remember before it was the injectable whatever, but now that secret got out, so now they figured out a way to.
Apparently there's a pill and they take it, and because they show a scene where he's like shooting lasers out of his eyes, like what's his name?
Oh. All right.
So that's all I know.
This takes things in a whole new direction.
Yeah, I know that much.
Here's what happened. They were in the writer's room. They're like, all right, well, we wrote ourselves into a corner, so power pill?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, what's his name, which, spoiler, if you haven't seen it, he kind of goes rogue at the end of the 3rd season there. And now I think they got to reel him in. So they got to get to his level to reel him in.
Oh, wow. So the power went to his head.
I'm guessing.
Okay.
I'm just, again, I'm just watching the trailer and putting a little math
You're
together.
fantasy booking. It's cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes sense. I like that.
That's, it just, I'm kind of like, well, maybe it's this way. And then again, maybe they're throwing me a okie dokie and it's going to, maybe that's a dream sequence and never really happened.
That could very well be. I do want to go back eventually and watch the animated series they did based on The Boys, just to see if there's any like hints or secrets that, spoilers that might pop up.
Well, those were those, if I remember right, weren't those like famous people fan stories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on, but I'm curious if because the comics have more detail than the series did. So I'm curious if the fans who made these animated shorts were more familiar with the graphic novel series and could maybe hint at some secrets that we don't know about yet for season 3.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
Maybe. But either way, it does start. And then I have not watched the 3rd episode of Obi-Wan's up now. So
I accidentally watched the first episode. I walked in like 5 minutes into it and sat down. I was like super into it. So I haven't caught fully up yet, but I've seen most of one.
It's one of my projects for this weekend.
Yeah.
Get caught up.
There's only 3 episodes now?
3 out. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm assuming
I think tomorrow they may release another one.
I think they gave you 2, and then the 3rd one came out this week.
Okay, so
I think this week's has already come out.
Okay, maybe it's like Wednesdays it comes out.
Yeah, maybe.
You just assume it's going to be Friday, but it makes more sense from a like logistic standpoint for Disney Plus to have each day be like this is your WandaVision day, this is your Obi-Wan day, this is your.
Which reminds me, I think a new episode of The Offer comes out today.
Oh yeah,
I think it's Thursdays.
Okay.
On Amazon Prime, which is another good series I've talked about.
Right.
If you love Godfather movies, you'll love that thing. So we're good.
Maybe worth checking out. Nothing about, and this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but nothing really about the Godfather movies ever stood out specifically. And the problem is, when I sat down and watched it like in its entirety, I was already like older.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cinematic, like the things that were featured in this movie for the first time, a lot of like the slow pans and stuff like that. That's all old tropes now, like in cinematography and stuff. And so a lot of those like new revolutionary things they did in this movie that were super awesome, looking back, it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just but to be honest, the Godfather book and movie, like pretty much everyone's knowledge of mafia isms comes from that movie.
Right.
And even like movies after are using
almost
the knowledge from that to expand upon. Like it's almost like for us people that fantasize, or I'm saying fantasize if that's the right word, but that mafia whole mindset and part of the family, and that's what draws people is that sense of
being Teflon, being untouchable, being.
But Godfather kind of established that,
being made.
And so gangster movies were just kind of like, oh great, there's another cheap thrill, shoot 'em up, bang up movie, and The Godfather was like this, dramatic. It told.
It's much more slow.
Yeah, so I would say like a Scorsese type is influenced big time by The Godfather because all his stuff, it's the family and all that, but because The Godfather was made, Scorsese's movies are able to be made. That's what is so great about it.
And I agree with you on that, but I would also say that a big part of it is the amount of parody that's out regarding the source material.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you've never seen the original Star Wars, but you've seen all of the Family Guy parodies of Star Wars. So you've seen all like of the bits from the movie, but you've seen the comedic take of them. So then to go back and see them in their original form, it's like, it kind of takes something away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it. Well,
like I saw the funny version of it. And I go back and see like just the derivative version of it.
Yeah. It's just, it's a turning point in cinematic history.
Agreed.
But anyway, I love the making of it because it's really cool just to see how much the actual mafia did play a little bit of a role in the making of that movie. It's kind of interesting to me, that whole dichotomy there.
It makes you wonder, though, those people who do like the movies about the occult, how much we had actual Satanists on set for accuracy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, where did this idea spawn from?
We started every morning in hair and makeup, then we put on our Baphomet necklaces and we walked on set.
Got our goat's blood. All right, let me give you the rundown for today's show. We do have a full slate for you. Here in just a few minutes, John from Race's Computers will join us. He pops in once a month to fill us in on technology and what they've got going on over there. So John will join us here in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Greg Zanetti, gubernatorial candidate here, Republican. He's going to call in, have a little conversation with him about 8:15 this morning. And then Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society going to join us in the 9 o'clock hour. She pops in every couple of weeks to give us an update on pets available for adoption and what's going on at thrift store, things like that. So
very good.
That plus all of your features, including the news of the local, national, variety, town hall, Wall Street business updates, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, though, let's take a look at that weather forecast. Yeah, a little cooler. More rain chances on the way. It's kind of a nice change of pace. Enjoy it for at least 2 more days.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Could get some showers and thunderstorms today as a cold front moves into our area. Skies will be partly cloudy and will hit the mid-70s on the afternoon high. A few showers this evening, partly cloudy overnight and down to the low 60s, and then a much better chance of thunderstorms on Friday. Our high in the mid-80s. Then we heat up and turn sunny again for the weekend, upper 90s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 62 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 75%. Winds currently out of the northeast at 6 miles per hour. Yes, cooler today, more rain chances. We are looking at a 20% chance at some rain showers pretty much all day. They say this morning could see a possibility, and even this afternoon. Cloudy today, highs only going to reach the mid to upper 70s, 77 today. Winds will be out of the northeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour. So pretty nice day. Our chance of rain bumps up to 40% tonight. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 63 degrees. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. They say some of those storms could be severe. Mostly sunny, warmer tomorrow, 86 for a high. Winds will be out of the east, 5 to 15 miles per hour. They're saying anywhere between a tenth and a quarter of an inch of rain expected tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're looking at a 30% chance of rain, partly cloudy, overnight low of 59 degrees, south winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then we start warming up for the weekend, mostly sunny, highs around 98 on Saturday. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 15 miles per hour, mostly sunny and hot with a high of 101 on Sunday. So enjoy your 77 today and tomorrow with some rain chances, because by the weekend, it's going to be back up to what we normally expect, hot and sunny. All right, it is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to take a 3-minute commercial break, and then stick around. On the other side, we're going to have John from Oasis Computers join us. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
This is Luis Sanchez, your Republican candidate for Congress in New Mexico's 1st District. I grew up in Albuquerque in a small little trailer in the South Valley, and was the first person in my family to go to college and live the American dream. I've worked in the medical field for 28 years, and am one of the owners of Caliber's indoor shooting ranges. I'm running for Congress because I see that American dream slipping away from the next generation. Socialists like Melanie Stansberry and AOC have inflation out of control in this country, and we have the highest unemployment rate in the nation. And those radical socialists won't stop until our country is ruined. In Congress, I'll uphold our conservative values, fight for all of our freedoms, just like I did when the governor tried to shut down New Mexico's small businesses. I am asking for your vote early or on June 7th. I'll work hard to protect your constitutional rights, secure our elections, and fight for real immigration reform to secure our borders. It's time to take our state and country back. I'm Luis Sanchez, and I approve this message. Paid for by Sanchez for New Mexico.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical.
Name to remember.
This July, Roswell becomes Ground Zero.
I'm Clyde Lewis, and you're listening to Ground Zero.
The International UFO Museum and Research Center, in conjunction with Roswell's Talk FM, are bringing nationally syndicated radio show host Clyde Lewis to Roswell for the 2022 UFO Festival. Clyde will be broadcasting his show Ground Zero live from the International UFO Museum on Friday, July 1st from 8 to 11 p.m. Join Clyde as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The truth is out there.
You know, there's something magical about homegrown tomatoes. Watching the plants grow, seeing the blooms pop, and then picking a big, ripe tomato and slicing it up on a sandwich. Hi, this is Jim Gill. Here at Roswell Seed Company, we have some of the prettiest tomato plants that we've ever seen, just waiting for you to make the magic happen. We have some good-looking pepper plants, too, and the geraniums will be coming along soon. So you say tomato, and I'll say tomato. Come and get your plants at Roswell Seed. No, I'm not going to say tomato. Nobody around here says tomato.
J Block for governor. J Block, conservative, veteran, leader. J Block is the only choice to stand up and defeat Michelle Lujan Grisham. Mr. Block is a veteran of combat, serving in Afghanistan, a nuclear commander, and winner of the New Mexico State Republican Convention. As an America First conservative, Mr. Block has turned blue seats red and has never lost a race. Mr. Block will end the madness in Santa Fe once and for all. He's not a weatherman. He's not a rhino. J Block is a conservative, veteran, and a leader. Vote June 7th in the Republican primary.
Paid for by Friends for J Block.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:25, and joining us in studio this morning from Oasis Computers, John's back with us. Morning, John.
Good morning, or maybe dark morning.
It is. It feels a little different today.
Yeah,
I know
sure
usually it's bright and sunny and already sweating by now, and today it's like, hey, are we still in southeast New Mexico?
Yeah, I stood outside waiting for the door, and it's like a little cool.
A little bit. So enjoy the change of pace.
But it's nice.
It is a nice little change.
Right.
It's nice to get a little respite from the hot and heat and everything else, and maybe get to cool off here. But for folks that aren't familiar, John pops in and joins us once a month here, and we talk computers, technology. Of course, if you are in need of computer services, from anywhere to buying a new computer to repairing the one you got, to looking to get one built or upgraded, or if you're needing advice on just any technology-based stuff for, from cutting the cord to stuff like that, John can help you do all that stuff. So.
Yes, we can.
Good deal. So a lot of times, we talk a lot about what comes to you, and it's really a lot of the same. And,
yes, it
is. At the end of the day, we come in, and every month, we talk about doing this, and but at the end of the day, you're probably out of job if people actually did what you said. I would say out of the job, but you would have a lot less customer base.
If the stuff would work like it did, and if they wouldn't keep changing it, and if it wouldn't be messing up on you for not necessarily your reason, I maybe have one day of work.
Sure.
Passwords and those things are still the worst.
Yeah.
It seems to get worse. I mean, we went the last 4 times. I've been hammering on passwords. Do not forget them and write them down and make sure you can read them. It is still getting worse. And I am starting to have trouble to keep up with it and do it with it. I help people with it.
Sure.
And now I'm telling them, look over my shoulder. I'll help you make this reset. And in the middle of reset, when you supply a password, you write it down, you do everything, and you type it back in, and then you find it doesn't work. And you go, oh, what now? And that is me doing it, with somebody looking over my shoulder. And I had one, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. The guy had come in the day before and needed to go in his, what was it? Not Facebook.
Twitter or one of these?
Well, his password for his email was lost. And not Amazon. What was the other big outfit?
eBay or
no. The early on big web thing.
Oh, like AOL? Or?
No, you're still wrong one. I can't think of it. Well, anyway, so it's
now I'm curious.
It'll come to me maybe. The one that was the biggest when the internet started.
Okay. Oh, shoot.
It's not big anymore, but been sold several times and whatever.
Yeah. Like Yahoo or...
Yahoo.
Okay.
Yahoo.
All right.
So his Yahoo email was messed up, and the amazing thing was Yahoo actually had, it said paid help. We called the number, and the answer was that you have tried too many times, and you have to wait till 24 hours and try it again and then do it again. So when he did it, he missed something doing it, whatever it was, I don't know. But so he missed a step, and then he had to try over again, can't do no more. So he said, I need my email now. And the answer from the lady somewhere in far away, hard to understand, was, no, I can't help you. You got to wait 24 hours, so we can't do anything. He asked some more, and he got hung up on.
Wow.
So that was in the store there, and it's like, stop it. This stuff, you have to follow what they say, otherwise you don't get anywhere. So come back tomorrow, 24 hours later, bring everything with you, and we'll try it again. So he came in, we both looked at it, and there was a code that came over. It was in capital letters. I've never had a code come in like that. So he had everything in place. He had the correct phone number, and the code was sent to the phone number. So I started typing it in by holding the shift key down, and we got all done with that. That worked fine. And he said, what about the wipes? That's not working right either. So we did that, and this time I decided to hit caps lock because there's 8 characters to type in.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, okay, now supply your password. So instead of me taking caps lock back off, we didn't. So we started typing it in. And I've been in the habit of definitely checking the little eyeball to see what you type. And I hadn't done that. So I got ... Wait a minute, let me see what I'm typing. Oh, shoot, I'm typing it in caps. See, that's the kind of thing where you go wrong.
Sure, it's that slight misstep.
Yeah, and you got to be so on guard and then understanding what it wants to do. People don't get it, where they need to get the answer, whatever.
You know, this might... I'm not trying to sound like a braggart here, but when we were young and computers were kind of in the infancy here, like one of the things you really like, our first computer in the house was an Apple IIc many moons ago, and in actuality, there wasn't a lot available for you to be doing on it. That's just fun, goof around type things. You know, there was. You know, there wasn't the software and all the stuff that we have today. But I remember back in the days, one of the popular things was you'd get like the computer programming magazines or whatever they're popular, and they would give you like pages and pages of code to put in. And then if you put in all the code correctly, you get to play like Hangman or something afterwards.
Never worked the first time.
I got a feeling that kind of trained us for password technology. Like today, these kids didn't have to do that. They just push buttons and things are there.
No, yes, maybe you're right.
Where we had to be like, wait a minute, is that a colon or a semicolon there? What's going on?
Definitely pay attention.
So I got a feeling that maybe trained us to be a little bit better.
Maybe, but I think where the problem lies is that what you started saying, we had some programs on it and we messed around with it and it wasn't really important. Now it is important.
Sure, yeah.
You have a bill to pay and you can't get in. You need to get your bank account. You need to take action and you get an email in and then you're waiting for the next day for the email to come in and respond to it. Then you can't get into your email.
Right.
And you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then you have changed your phone with a different phone number and not updated the account.
Yeah.
And then it wants to send a code to the wrong phone number. It's really, I don't know what the word is for it, but amazing how much goes wrong. And it's every week, at least once a week, if not more. And about 60, 70% we get going, and 30% we cannot get going because of that the phone number was changed and whatever. And then you got to realize that the email that you have is free email. There is no help with free. If you go through an email provider, there's many places where you can buy an email account and they do specifically email.
Sure.
And you can call a company like that. You pay, $10 a month or whatever it is. And then you say, I need help. And then they will verify you because they're making money from you, not from advertising.
You're the customer in that case.
Right, instead of you're being the product being sold. So,
unlike your free Gmail account or whatever it is.
Right, and then the way of noting it down, people have, you've got a couple of papers laying there. Well, people have receipts or something what you have up there, and they scribble up their password in there, and they keep that. Thank God sometimes they keep it because that's why I can make it work again.
Sure.
But you have to go,
well, then you got to delineate, instead of maybe having it in an organized binder or whatever it is,
And then you have password managers, and then, some are paid for, but they don't pay for it no more, and then it goes away. Some are free and not very good,
that's why sometimes the old notebook's the most reliable. If you keep it intact
and update it. And the problem is that when you're in a hurry and you need to do that important thing, whatever that is, so you need to get in your email, and then your email says, well, something happened and you need to update your password. At that point, no problem. So you add an exclamation mark to it or something like that, what a lot of people do. But then you don't update your book.
Right.
Because you're in a hurry. You need to do it. I'll update my book later today. Well, a year later, it's like, why does password not work? I wrote it down here.
And you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot.
You want to date it and update that book. That's it. And you don't want to do it when you're in the wrong state of mind, when you get so frustrated with changing the password, because then you can't read your handwriting.
Right.
Write it down on a scrap piece of paper till you got figured out. Log back out, log back in, make sure it works.
Yeah.
Then when you go like, okay, all this works, then write it in the password book. The other thing is scratch the old password out and you feel like you're done, so you black it completely out.
Yeah.
And then the next time you have a problem, you say, well, do you know what your old password was? Well, now you scratch that out. You can't read it. So put just a line through it. No good no more, but...
or put the new one underneath and just update it every time you change it.
Right.
Put a date behind
It's simple enough in a way, but it's something that doesn't work in reality.
It's one of those things that's very simple, but... And sometimes you may never need to access it, but the moment something goes wrong, that's going to make that recovery go from a nightmare to a minor inconvenience. And that's by doing those simple little
you're
things.
going to, where's my book? Where's my information? However you do it.
Yeah.
Where is my whatever? I have nothing. I don't know what.
Yeah.
So...
And then let's be honest, we in the new world of storage where not necessarily things are going on a hard drive on your computer anymore, it's going to a cloud and things like that. That makes even understanding those passwords and things, it's like, everything's in the cloud, but if you can't access your cloud,
you got a problem
then
again.
It might as well be deleted.
It's just like backup, if you don't back up, you got nothing. So if you don't have any password written down, it goes wrong and you don't remember. That's it.
Sure.
So have it in a book or something. Use a password manager. We have said for years, do not use the built-in password saving in Google or in whatever. Well, these days we kind of have changed that, and I'm even using it.
Sure.
If it's asked to save a password, I may not say save it because it does go wrong. My password manager, it's very good. LastPass, what I'm using, but it wants to supply passwords by itself sometimes, and then they don't work. And sometimes you have double passwords that you're not supposed to use, and the password manager says, "You're a double password here. You don't use that." But it works for me because I can remember. I don't even trust the password manager anymore. And then you have a master password for the password manager. If you forget that, you're really out of luck.
Sure.
So at one point, there was no feedback on that. And I noticed the other day when I was checking through it, my phone number is in there. So if I lose my password for my password manager program that's sort of online, it can send me a code to my phone. But I have that password written down in a safe location because I have typed it in wrong. You walk in some morning and you just do it wrong and you go, what's wrong with this? I always done this. And then you realize, what am I doing?
That was a 8 instead of a 6 or whatever.
The more I do this stuff, the more I find out that it's not the computer necessarily. It's the brain. The brain doesn't do right.
And the older we get, the more we absentmindedly do those things.
Well, the problem is really you set up a password. For the next 3 years, it's all good. And then you got a problem.
Right.
And that's why part of the problem is if but you can't change your password every week either. That doesn't work either.
That's too much. You're not efficient for you.
They're
probably.
supposedly working on passwordless entries in one way or another. Different people have been working with different things. Heard another story about it 2 weeks ago, and it's not. Everybody's getting to the point. Well, it's not quite really the right way.
Yeah.
But it's better than not being able to get into your stuff.
But they've made ways to access things easier, but all of them are still at the end of the day based off a password. Like if you use your facial or thumb or whatever recognition.
The Microsoft, what they're doing is a good example.
Yeah.
You first set up a machine with a local account, meaning you call it John, and then you log in, and it doesn't ask for a password, nothing. As you go along, Microsoft will say, you really need to make a Microsoft account. And people have no idea what that means, but they seem to be forced. You get like cattle guided into that direction. And if you don't pay close attention or you're busy again, you need to get, fine, I'll do it. So they set it up, and then they didn't realize they just made a Microsoft account that has a password. If you ask those folks, do you have a Microsoft account? No. but you can see on the computer, that's a Microsoft account.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
In the past, you were let to do this. Oh, so that password now works, and it's not a problem. You go along a little bit, Microsoft says, you need to make a PIN. And then you go, well, what PIN? What now? And then people go like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's kind of, that's great. So for the next 2 years, you go along with your PIN.
Yeah.
And then something happens, like the machine crashes. I had one 2 days ago. The machine had crashed, and we got it up and running again. Static caused that. The static made it. The guy thought machine was gone. It's like, nah, probably not.
Just had a power surge.
Had to pull the battery out, one built-in battery. Had to pull battery out, start it back up. And it all started working again. But you could see that we had to reboot twice, and it was updating its BIOS thing or something like that. When it got done, Windows runs up and says, no, your PIN don't work no more. You can't use that because something had changed what the PIN relies on. And I said, do you have your Microsoft password? Well, I don't know that Microsoft. But your email, something at Microsoft, at msn.com. You got a Microsoft password. Do you know the password for your email? Yeah, I have that somewhere. It's not right handy, but I do have it. Good, because that will make your machine open up again.
That's probably what your password is.
That was the password that he needed to. So type your password in. So he tried to type something in, didn't work, and said, other customer walked in, and I go, think about it. So when I got back to him, he said, yeah, I got it. I had to think about it, but I remembered what it was. So he got in, and then you can set a PIN up again. Now, the PIN, almost everybody thinks that it is 4 digits and, like 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. But that's not necessarily needed. There's a little check mark underneath where you can say use letters also. So what I have done is I made my PIN, because Microsoft forces you eventually to make a PIN. I run into that. It's like, no PIN, right. You can't boot up. Make a PIN first. Okay, fine. So I made a PIN and I deleted it. And then another week later, it said, no, you need to make a PIN. Well, fine then. So I used the same PIN I use on the phone. And I was really not happy because now it asked for a PIN. And it said, I know how everybody else is, and me included. Give it 2 weeks, and I don't know what my password is. Now, I have it written down. I have it somewhere, but still, I'm not comfortable with that.
Now that you're not using it, you tend to forget it. Yeah.
So this one guy comes in, and he brings a machine in, and he said, well, what's your PIN here? And he says, ABCXYC224. No, sir, that's
that's a password.
That's a password. He said, no, that's my PIN. He was kind of adamant about it. So I said, well, fine. Well, I'll type it in. I'll show him that it doesn't work. So I typed it in, and it worked. And I go like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should shut up here. So I didn't understand why. So, of course, when he was gone, I
You're like, all right, how do you do that move?
What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Why? And so I remade a PIN and to see what was all in there. I looked real close and said, if you want to use letters and numbers, put check mark. Oh, at that point, the light comes on, and I go, you know what? My password and PIN are going to be the same. As I made the PIN, I go, oh, I'll bet you when I taped the last thing in and hit enter that it says you can't have your password and PIN the same. But it didn't ever say that. That it is now almost 2 years ago. So I have the password and PIN on every machine the same.
Nice. And you learned it just from another customer having to come in.
Now, the PIN belongs with the machine, the computer.
Sure.
The password belongs with the Microsoft account that lets you log into the computer.
So if you log into a different computer
I have 3 or 4 computers that I use this on. I changed the PIN on one machine because there was an issue that I wasn't quite happy about, and said, let me just change the PIN on this machine. So I changed the password. No, the password had to be changed for the Microsoft account. That's what it was.
Okay.
Something alerted me there may be an issue, and I thought it was baloney. But just in case, I added something to it, exclamation mark, whatever. And then I said, oh, my PIN. I need to update my PIN. So I updated the password on the Microsoft account, the PIN on my main computer, and later, somewhere next day, whatever, I went to my other computer, and I had to re-log into it.
Okay.
And I used the new PIN and didn't let me in. Go, oh, shoot, here we go again. Well, you know what the problem was? The PIN belongs with the computer. So I had to log in with the password. I selected password and typed the new password, and it worked fine. Go, wait a minute. Then the pin, the pin is per machine, so you have to update the pin on each machine.
So it's kind of a security to allow who you want to make sure is access to that terminal, not necessarily the software of the Microsoft software.
Yeah, I don't quite see it exactly, but I do get what is going on. Sort of. I'm not sure.
I could see that handy in like a business where multiple people are using multiple computers and they want certain groups. All right, these are yours computers.
In this case, it's your own. So
yeah.
I haven't had enough time to really read up on it or something, what the thinking is.
But I feel like that's where they're going with it. They're trying to make it so, like, if you're a company or something that has multiple terminals, but you want certain people into here and certain people here.
Right.
Maybe
it's been for years already that with Microsoft's accounts, I can go on your computer. And then, I can do it right now. I can go on your computer, log into my account in either Google's, in Google's world, or in Microsoft, and then I see all my stuff.
Yeah.
So if I
that's same here with me on mine.
Right. And then in a business where all the computers in a business, if you move your office and you go to Pete's office, and you need your office gets remodeled, so Pete's on vacation.
Right.
You say use Pete's office and you can use his computer too. That way you don't have to move nothing. Then you just go to Pete's office, log in with your account, and then you got all your stuff there.
Yeah.
So.
But and it works in theory pretty good.
If you don't forget the passwords.
Exactly. Remember the difference between the pins and the passwords and set them correctly and
we
write it all down.
We keep hammering on this because you said you would have less work. Some weeks it's every day. And it is really sad to see that you can't do it and then trying to have to explain it. I don't know if it's me or if it's the end user, but I got a new phone number last week.
Yeah.
And my Apple account doesn't let me in. And it sends a message out to this number. Yeah, do you have that? Well, no, I got another one. Well, then you can't get it, right? Well, but can you change the number then? Yes, you can, after you get in.
Yeah.
First, see if somebody, call that number that you had and see if somebody answers and ask them, please, can you give me the code that shows up? Of course, if you just did that, nobody has that number yet.
Sure.
But it's actually a thought I had. Call your old number. Does anybody answer? Then ask them if they please can give the code once you send it.
Not a bad idea.
Well, anything to try to get people's stuff going. It's so heartbreaking that they can't get into it no more.
And people think that, like, there should be a background workaround. It's like, well, yes and no, but if you do that, then you risk the whole reason for having security in the first place.
The problem that it seems to be also is, or the mindset is like, but it's my computer, it's my account. I know it's my account. Yes, you do, but they don't.
Yeah.
You need to prove that you're yours.
Yeah.
Same thing as going up to your house and say, oh, God, I don't have my key. Hey, Pete, you're with me here. Can I use your key from your house?
Yeah.
No. Well, most of the time anyway.
Yeah, unless they get a weird lock situation.
Could happen, but in general, his key will not work on your door, okay?
Yeah. Well, exactly, yeah. It's just, you got to think of it in physics. It's, people don't understand or conceptualize that because it's not something tangible.
Right.
It's something, it's a concept or it's...
And they always mad that, well, I don't use it for much. There's nothing important in it. Yes, but you're part of the whole group, and for some people it's extremely important, and for some people it don't matter at all. If it doesn't matter to you, make a new email account.
Sure.
Well, my old stuff.
Well, and even things that you think aren't important are important. You don't. Cyber crooks are just like any other. They're phishing.
Right.
And so
they may just want to use your computer to send out emails to other people that pretend to come from you or something from your computer.
They may use you as the ghost, not so much as they're trying to get into your stuff and steal it.
They also can use computing power and combine it to attack. These denial of service attacks. The way they work is that all infected computers with this particular form of virus. When, I want you to do something as a big outfit, and you say, we don't do that. We're going to shut you down. Yeah, right. Good luck with that. Then they get, 2 million computers all at the same time sending messages out, and the whole system breaks down and says, are you going to pay up now?
Yeah.
It's just ransomware type of thing. Those things happen.
They do. And usually a lot of it can be avoided by just simply making sure your passwords are up to date, things like that, being proactive with some of that stuff.
And, of course, it's panic when somebody is in your computer. I've seen one last week. Lady calls me and says, hey, it's not working. He's like, well, you know what? I'm coming back from lunch here in about half an hour. Let me drive by your house, okay, and see what's going on. I walk in the door, and the mouse is moving around like somebody's checking everything out in there. Just keeps it going.
Wow.
So how long was it? How long ago did you go? It's about an hour ago? Yeah. And this guy's been in here an hour? I reached back there and pulled the connector for the internet off and said, okay, now let's see what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
And it was a phone call or something or an email, and she called the number in it or something like that. Or the person called, we're from Microsoft. We're going to help you.
Mm.
And just terrible.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully they didn't get much before they...
They didn't get anything because they've been trying some stuff, and she... smart enough to call me, but didn't get rid of the guy in the computer.
Right.
Probably didn't know how. Lady's old, is 80 years old too, or something like that. So he was trying to squeeze money out of her somewhat, and I guess in the meantime he was trying to see if he could get in the bank accounts. So when we got it up and going, we tried to get in a bank account and said, okay, let me make sure you want to check those. I looked over her thing, and when she typed on the bank account number, she had to manually type in the password. In that case, it was great that it wasn't saved because he couldn't get in because he didn't know it, and she wouldn't tell him, of course.
Good, okay.
So I don't think anything happened.
Grace.
I don't think she lost anything, but it was kind of weird looking.
Sure, I can imagine. That's scary. And yeah, and like you were talking earlier, people that's an invasion of privacy. That's like into your own personal world.
Right.
And
that's somebody walking in your house and looking through all your cabinets and the drawers
it's the
and whatever.
Same thing. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's unnerving. So so please, to save all of that, and I wouldn't. And I better restate this to give you the best chance of avoiding that kind of stuff, because you could be perfect and it still happens. It's just the world we live in. But,
yeah, it's easy to make a mistake.
Exactly. So, but just be as proactive, making sure you keep those passwords updated and make sure you have access to them. You know them, write them down.
Right.
And, when you do change them, update immediately and make sure.
The biggest warning is if it contacts you, do not respond. Hang up, stop, whatever. And if it's the bank, I'm pretending to be the bank is calling here. I need to update your information. Hang up. Call the bank with the number you got on your statement and say, do you guys need to update my stuff? And they go, what?
Yeah.
You're being hacked, ma'am.
Yep, absolutely. And
do not respond to emails, phone calls. They may say whatever they say, but they were Microsoft. No, they're not. I'm Microsoft, okay? I'm Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that. That doesn't mean I am.
Yeah. And if you question legit, hang up on them. Call the legit one is legit. Right. And then
use your number to call back.
Yeah. That's
don't use a number they give you. Well, if you want to double check that we're correct, here's our 800 number. Well, that's not their 800 number.
Yeah. They're just steering you down their path.
Right, of course.
So go in the phone book or look on your billing statement or wherever you got to go to find that information.
Today I had one from the IRS or something. I got $900 refund. I just had to click on this. IRS.gov. And then it said in the email from PeteCrook.com.
Yeah, right. And you're like, oh, okay. And they get really good at making it look legit or real. And it's not. So
it's really bad.
So just be vigilant on your end, and that helps to mitigate as much of that as possible.
And if you need help with it, I'm there to help.
And then if they do get a crack in the armor there and get through, then
just keep in mind it's 8 to 12:30. We've got a bunch of stuff going on and need to get work done and no help.
Good deal. So
and we're managing just fine at the moment with the work that we got.
Good.
As long as we have the afternoon off to get your work done.
Yeah, if you need help, you can always come by Oasis Computers, like John was saying, at 8:30 to 12 there. Come on by. That's when he's doing like the quick service calls. Like you bring your stuff in. If it's a quick fix thing,
I've tried to fix it
he
right
can do
there.
it right there on spot. But if it's something there where you got to crack open the thing and take a look and all that,
Right. It
then
depends on how many people there are.
Then what he'll do is he'll hold on to it, working on the afternoon
Right.
there when he's got
Exactly. Or
time
go
to,
on a service call or whatever.
and then get it back to you the next
Right.
day or whenever.
Most
it's ready.
things go out within no more than 3 days.
Good deal. I imagine all depends too on the COVID world, like everybody else. Supply and demand of parts and things makes things a little longer
it's still
sometimes.
a little weird. The supply, the selling of computers have dropped off some. There for about 2 years, it's been quite up. A lot of help. I think it's evening out where people have their gear in place.
Okay.
And slowly starting to get out in the world again, and
Yeah.
don't need it quite as much. But
They're ready to do face-to-face instead of the Zooming and all that other stuff.
Right.
So good.
Very good.
If anybody has any questions, give the phone number for
575-625-9141.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to contact me.
Yeah, if you have any questions, like you said, morning hours are for customer service things,
Yep.
and then in the afternoon he's out doing service calls or
Yeah,
taking care
or
of
by special appointment
projects
if
or-
I need to talk to you, explain, like a password reset, I may have to call you, may have to set you up to come in the afternoon so we can do this uninterrupted. Because if you get interrupted with it, you start making those mistakes again.
Yep. And by the way, like you said, with house calls, and that's generally like networking issues and things, because a lot of times if you got network, he's got to be on site to see what the network's
try to
doing.
have the machine brought in because it saves you money and it makes it easier on me. But if your network's not working, you can't get on the internet, well, you kind of have to go out there to make that work.
They haven't figured out how to...
First, we bring the computer in, and if it works in the store, we try to go out.
Gotcha. That gives you a clue in what direction to lead, basically.
Make sure that the computer's at least working.
Yeah, that's start one, and all right, now we know where to start looking.
Right.
So. Good deal. Well, John, appreciate the visit as always. Appreciate the conversation. We'll see you next month. And
Very good.
Folks, if you're needing help, especially now that we're getting into summer and kids are going to be thinking about college and stuff in a couple months, now's the time to maybe start putting your ducks in a row about, if you're going to get them new computers and things to go for college and all that, or set one up for that.
Or maybe used one.
Yeah, talk to John. He can help you out with all that
Right.
stuff, too.
Very good.
Good deal. Well, thank you, sir. We'll see you
Thank you.
next time. Don't work too
Okay.
hard. And have a great weekend.
You too.
Will do. Man, 7:56. Morning's flying already. Let's do this. Let's get you Wall Street Business Update. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Delta Airlines expects second quarter revenue will be back to pre-pandemic 2019 levels. The airline said revenue per seat should be up 8 percentage points, better than it originally expected. However, the airline is facing surging prices for jet fuel. Other expenses, including labor, are up as well. President Biden on Wednesday said he was not briefed on the prospect of nationwide shortages of infant formula for about 2 months, and he acknowledged the strain on families as his administration struggles to address the situation. The U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Reform has invited NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder to appear at a hearing later this month as part of the congressional investigation into the team's workplace conduct. Chairwoman Carolyn Maloney said Wednesday they sent letters to the league and team requesting the presence of Goodell and Snyder on June 22nd. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at RoswellUFOmuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
Carlsbad Main Street and the City of Carlsbad invite you to join us June 10th and 11th for Cavern Fest 2022. Cavern Fest kicks off Friday, June 10th at 6 o'clock with food trucks, vendors, and music headlined by Curtis Grimes. Saturday, June 11th starts at noon with music, vendors, and activities all day, capped off with Holly Tucker and headliner the Randy Rogers Band. Cavern Fest is free thanks to our sponsors, A.R. Foreman Construction, Carlsbad Chevrolet, XTO, and many more.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion? Country Club Road Church of Christ presents Champion VBS, June 6th through the 10th, from 9 to 11:30 a.m. for ages 3 years old through 6th grade. Explore the excitement of leading others to a relationship with Jesus from some of the best loved passages of Scripture, and with a team of some of the world's fastest animals, you'll learn how to be a champion with practice, perseverance, and a little sweat. Wow. Skits, crafts, music, Bible stories, snacks, lunch, and more, including a free t-shirt. Find out more and register at ccrcoc.com. Champion VBS, June 6th through the 10th at Country Club Road Church of Christ. Open to ages 3 years old through 6th grade at the corner of Washington and Country Club Road in Roswell. Learn more and register now at ccrcoc.com.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
Following a deadly mass shooting in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
In the wake of mass shootings at an elementary school in Texas and a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, word of an active shooter on a hospital campus in Tulsa had people on alert. Nicholas O'Brien tells KTUL his mother was in one of the buildings.
They were rushing people out. I don't know if some of them were injured or just had been injured during the shooting, but some of them couldn't walk very well.
And O'Brien says the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, that left 19 children and 2 teachers dead was on his mind. Police say 4 people were killed in addition to the shooter, who died from an apparently self-inflicted gunshot wound. I'm Ben Thomas.
A sobering assessment of the economy from J.P. Morgan Chase Chief Executive Jamie Dimon, warning of a coming economic hurricane, to use his description. Dimon advising Americans, you better brace yourself. Britain is saluting the historic 70-year reign of Queen Elizabeth, with 4 days of events now underway.
The Platinum Jubilee has begun with Trooping the Colour, an annual military review that's marked the sovereign's official birthday since 1760. Throughout the weekend, neighbourhood organisations and individuals are expected to hold thousands of street parties, repeating a tradition that began with the Queen's coronation in 1953. Charles de Ledesma, London.
Fewer Americans applied for unemployment last week. Applications for jobless benefits dropping by 11,000 to 200,000 for the week ending May 28th. Watching Wall Street, stocks are mixed at the moment. Right now, the Dow down 149 points, while the Nasdaq 7 points higher, and the S&P is 12 points in the red. More on these stories, townhall.com.
I'm about to compare a pepper shaker to a cash-out refinance. Hang with me. You know when you're at a restaurant and they ask, would you like some fresh ground pepper? And then they crank that giant tube, but almost nothing comes out? For me, only a certain amount of time is socially acceptable to wait. I know that getting that pepper out might make my life better, but it just seems too impossible. And that's what we hear people say about the cash-out refinance. People realize that the value of their home has gone up like hot pepper the last few years, leaving all this extra money sitting inside their home. But is it too hard to get out? It's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage. If you're interested in cashing out the extra pepper in your home, we're good at doing all the work while you just sit back and relax. And often, your mortgage payment and years in the loan will stay the same. If you'd like to hear about your options,
we are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. License in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
A former head of South Africa's intelligence agency is suing the country's president for alleged crimes, including kidnapping and bribery.
Mr. Fraser says he has supporting evidence, including photos, videos, and bank statements, that the country's president concealed a crime. This relates to an alleged robbery of $4 million at Cyril Ramaphosa's farm in 2020. Fraser further alleges that the suspects in the theft were tortured, kidnapped, and then paid bribes to remain silent. The former spy boss, who more recently served as the National Prisons Commissioner, controversially approved the release on parole of former President Jacob Zuma in 2021. The president's office says Mr. Ramaphosa has been made aware of the case and will respond in due course.
The BBC Shanghai Naoka. Afghanistan's Taliban rulers starting a campaign to eradicate poppy cultivation, aiming to wipe out the country's production of opium and heroin. News and analysis, townhall.com. A new House GOP bill would criminalize Supreme Court leaks.
Republicans are responding to the bombshell leak of the draft opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade abortion rights protections by aiming to criminalize leaks of non-public Supreme Court information. A group of 12 House Republicans introduced the Leaker Accountability Act on Tuesday, which would bar any officer or employee of the Supreme Court from knowingly publishing, divulging, disclosing, or making known in any manner confidential information such as internal notes, draft opinions, or final opinions before publication learned through the course of employment at the court. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott asking that special legislative committees be convened to examine a host of issues in the aftermath of the Uvalde school massacre, seeking recommendations on school safety, mental health issues, and the impact of social media, as well as police training and firearm safety. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. So they go guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Deuces.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
Welcome to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kinder, gentler, different Thursday.
I like it.
Cooler.
I like it a lot.
Less heat.
Less threatening.
Heat exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Less
might
wind.
see some moisture.
Mm-hmm. Actually felt kind of confident doing my hair today, thinking, it might actually stay this way. Oh, the end of yesterday, dude, it was bad.
Yeah.
I had wind fro like you would not believe.
Yeah.
I was trying to fix it while I was going, and by the halfway through the windstorm, I'm like, forget it.
It's just a
It's
lost
just
cause.
going to be this way. It's freeing, though, because I could drive the whole way home with my window down, let the wind whip from me. It's freeing.
I believe we should just call it and embrace it and just call it a hairstyle choice.
Yeah? Windswept?
Just call it the Jim Ignatowski.
Nah, the MIG.
Yeah. Because if for folks who remember the TV show Taxi, Doc Brown, for those who don't know,
right?
He was before he was Doc Brown, he was Jim Ignatowski. Lloyd, what's his
Bridget?
name?
Not
Lloyd Bridget.
Christopher Lloyd.
Thank you. And so he was Jim Ignatowski, who was a cab driver, but he was like, I don't know if he's drunk or drugs or whatever he was, but he was off all the time. And he just walked in with his hair all disheveled, and it's like, and that was pretty much, he'd walk in just like, and then walk out, and
I saw him on something. It wasn't real recently, Christopher Lloyd. I think it was like maybe Raising Hope or something. This is from several years ago. That dude has looked like an old man since I was a kid.
Well, they olded him up for
but
Back
they
to
did,
the Future. So
you know what
think,
it reminds me of is Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
Because Burgess Meredith was an old dude in everything I ever saw him in.
Yeah.
Granted, the movie I got most familiar with him in was Grumpy and Grumpier Old Men.
Yeah.
Where he was already the old man in that movie. But the stuff I saw from before, like the 40s, 50s, 60s, he always looked old.
And see, this is the difference in our age gaps between, because when you think Burgess Meredith, you think Grumpy Old Men. I think the original Batman show and Rocky movies.
Okay, which I'll give you. I can give you both of those actually. Yeah. The original Batman I didn't watch too much of, but yeah,
I did
Rockies.
as a kid. It was in reruns when I was a kid. So like in the afternoons, I'd see it, and there was always they'd show that scene. Almost every episode, it seemed like Batman and Robin had to climb a building, and it was that same scene where they just turned the camera sideways, and they're literally. Dun, 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 and they just like walk like this. Robin's always behind Batman,
right?
And and then they pop in the window and there's Burgess Meredith as the Penguin. but yeah, I watched it a lot as a kid, and of course I think of him as Mickey.
Yeah,
you know,
the killing machine. But
grease lightning.
It seems like people looked older at a younger age.
Yeah.
In previous generations. I think that's probably a lot to do with like smoking, how it was just more prevalent. Maybe.
But I think Christopher Lloyd thing is because you watched him in Back to the Future, and a lot of people have an image of him in the Back to the Future stuff
as a crazy old man.
They kind of made him look older in that than he actually was. They aged him, and then if you notice, they de-aged him a little bit, or brought him back to what he more normally looked like when it was the 50s version of Doc Brown. But the 80s version of Doc Brown is they oldened him up as much as they could in makeup and what have you in those days. So if you're used to seeing him older, now that you see him when he's actually older, you're like, oh, he looks the same. And I'm like, well, it's because I think in his case, for him, that's part of that problem. I mean, I can't speak to other actors, but to him, I think that's part of it. We all image him as Doc Brown, where they oldened him up a little bit.
I'll tell you where I really noticed it.
Yeah.
And when I heard the story the other day. So Pat Morita was 56. I think it was 50 for the first Karate Kid. Okay.
Yes.
It recently came out that Ralph Macchio is the same age as Pat Morita was in the original Karate Kid. And you look at Ralph Macchio now versus Pat Morita in the original Karate Kid. I'm just saying it seems like we age better now. And I know that modern medicine technology has something to do with it, but
possibly
good plastic surgery.
Again, example number 2, I think Ralph Macchio just looks young for his age.
Well, yeah, he always has.
Yeah, I just think he's just got that because I think he was actually way older than what people think he was in the Karate Kid movies.
Really?
Like I don't think he was as young as the person he was portraying in the Karate Kid movies. I could be wrong.
I want to say 56. I want to say 56 now.
I want to say he was a little older than what he was supposed to be. Like he's supposed to be a teenage boy. I think he's actually like 20.
His 20s, right.
when those were going on.
Well, that was the other thing, too, was the suspension of disbelief. Because you go back and watch movies where it's like a collective group of high school students.
Yeah.
Every single one of them looked like they were in their 30s.
Yeah. Well, 90210.
Yeah.
Every single one of those people look like they're like middle-aged. And they're like, and you're like, you're in high school. You're 35. That means our guest is here, colleagues. So let me do this. Let's play a quick commercial break, and then on the other side, we're going to have gubernatorial candidate Greg Zanetti join us. Don't go away.
Jay Block for governor. Jay Block, conservative, veteran, leader. Jay Block is the only choice to stand up and defeat Michelle Lujan Grisham. Mr. Block is a veteran of combat, serving in Afghanistan, a nuclear commander, and winner of the New Mexico State Republican Convention. As an America First conservative, Mr. Block has turned blue seats red and has never lost a race. Mr. Block will end the madness in Santa Fe once and for all. He's not a weatherman. He's not a rhino. Jay Block is a conservative, veteran, and a leader. Vote June 7th in the Republican primary.
Paid for by Friends for Jay Block.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell introduced the original cookies and cream ice cream. So every time you dig into that familiar creamy vanilla ice cream that's loaded with chunks of chocolate cream cookies, you can say thanks. You're more than welcome.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Walgreens stores and Albertsons United Supermarkets.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion? Country Club Road Church of Christ presents Champion VBS, June 6th through the 10th, from 9 to 11:30 a.m. for ages 3 years old through 6th grade. Explore the excitement of leading others to a relationship with Jesus from some of the best love passages of Scripture, and with a team of some of the world's fastest animals, you'll learn how to be a champion with practice, perseverance, and a little sweat. Wow. Skits, crafts, music, Bible stories, snacks, lunch, and more, including a free t-shirt. Find out more and register at ccrcoc.com. Champion VBS, June 6th through the 10th at Country Club Road Church of Christ. Open to ages 3 years old through 6th grade at the corner of Washington and Country Club Road in Roswell. Learn more and register now at ccrcoc.com.
Hi, this is Kevin Ray from my friends at Sun State Technology Group. There are no timeouts in business, and with the game getting more challenging than ever, it's time to make the play for better, more reliable technology. Sun State Tech is your local IT solutions company that provides protection and upgrades to keep your business at the top of its game. Managed IT services, cybersecurity, and more are delivered by the home team experts at Sun State Tech. Visit sunstatetech.com today for your free, no obligation technology checkup.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 15 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us on the phone this morning, gubernatorial candidate Greg Zanetti back with us. Morning, sir. How you doing today?
Mike, I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing great. It's getting crunch time, isn't it? We're less than a week away here from the big primary and all that. I imagine you and your people are kind of trying to do the last push and get the word out and just, get people to vote, but, telling people why they should vote for you.
Yeah, and I've been on your show so many times over the last year. I kind of make the assumptions that people know me by now. But just the quick background. I'm from New Mexico. Went to Valley High School, Valley to West Point. I ended up as the commanding general at Guantanamo Bay. I know a lot about borders, Mike. I know a lot about public safety.
Sure.
But I also had a career, and by the way, Gitmo was a big command. Anyway, I know a lot about how big organizations work.
Well, not only was it a big command, but it was one of those lightning rod commands. You know what I mean? Where you're visible, and the decisions you do and make are going to be probably amplified tenfold just because it's Gitmo. You know what I mean? It's where you make a decision someplace, and if it's not on people's radar, do people care? But that one, it was kind of in the spotlight a little bit there. So,
yeah, no, it was, and Mike, that's why I don't worry too much about what people think about me, and certainly not the press or the liberals or progressives. Oh, that stuff just doesn't faze me at all after having been through that command and dealing with CNN and the Washington Post and the Miami Herald and this kind of thing.
Sure.
But right. Then the other piece. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. It just spawned something that we're talking about experience here, and when obviously being a general in the military, military has a very set way of, protocol procedures and things, for efficiency and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, generally speaking, people in command in the military are making high pressure decisions involving a lot of people, whether it's something as simple as moving them from one location to another to determining what their mission is and things like that. Those can be high pressure. I would imagine that kind of stuff probably translates well as a governor, especially when you look at the last 3 years of COVID, where a lot of decisions were made under very similar pressurized scenarios. And so, you talk about, your pressure, things like that. But, that's a legit big thing. And I think COVID's taught us now more than ever, you need someone who can think rationally when stuff doesn't go right. Does it make sense, the point I'm making here? It's kind of, I think if nothing else, COVID's taught us the lesson that there's a difference between people that can think on their feet and people that can't, and we've seen what happens when people can't. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do, and I think that was. I think this is one of the big complaints I had during COVID. Is as the facts changed, the leadership in the governor's office did not change. They just stuck to an orthodoxy And none of it was making any sense as, the so-called science was supposedly changing. What was really happening, it was all about power and control. And Mike, here's what I've learned, a career either running my own business and employees and owning my own business and also in the military is it's always about team. And if you were dictating from on high with everything centralized, where you think all those people work for you, you're in trouble. People used to say to me, what's it like having, thousands of people working for you at Gitmo? I said, you don't get it. They didn't work for me. I worked for them. And when the whole command begins to think like this, what are we going to do to help the soldier, the sailor, the airman, to do their jobs right and to resource them? They will stun you with their creativity, their enterprise, what they're able to do.
Sure.
And she never thought like that because, Mike, she never trusted us. And so because she didn't trust us, you saw what happened here, and it was all a disaster. I trust the people in New Mexico. And so, anyway, I think we could change this state and turn it around so fast.
Gotcha. By letting people be the people and take our talents and let's enhance them rather than stifle them.
Right.
Yeah.
But now we're heading into this environment that not just MLG, but the Biden administration has created. And this has changed a little bit since you and I first talked. When we talked last summer, we said all this money printing was going to end badly. And we said we were going to have rising prices, and now here we are. And so what are we going to do about it? And here's where I believe New Mexico could really shift things. What we have to be doing is transitioning our economy the way southeastern New Mexico has transitioned. You guys create wealth. And instead of just creating money out of thin air and like we've done over the past year, print money and give it to everybody, here, free money. Well, nothing's more expensive than free. I mean, you know that.
Sure.
And so now we're paying this price of, $5, $6 a gallon for gas, and what's happening to diesel and what's happening to food prices. And it hurts the poor and the middle class the most. The only way out of this is you must produce wealth. And we said, look, there are two kinds of wealth in the world. There's wealth from the earth, the oil, the gas, the timber, the copper, gold, silver, cotton, the stuff God made.
Sure.
And New Mexico, we said, was rich in wealth from the earth. We have not only the oil and the gas, but the uranium and copper and silver and lithium and potash and 4 of the 17 rare earth elements. And we said, why aren't we using this?
Sure.
And then there was another kind of wealth we said was wealth from human hands. Taking aluminum and making an airplane. Now it's wealth to me. And so is my cell phone, computer, car. Well, the new stuff that's coming technology-wise, you know what it is? It's quantum computing, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, micromachinery. And we said, that stuff was born in New Mexico.
Yeah.
At our labs at Afotech, at New Mexico Tech, New Mexico State. We have brilliant minds in the state. And if we were to combine those two, we could go from worst to first. By the way, just the parenthesis here. We also said there was a third kind of wealth, and it was spiritual wealth. And that was just acting with honor and integrity and, not corrupt the way we have it now.
Sure.
But anyway, and remember the example we used on what we could do to change this state? I remember we talked about water. And we said that New Mexico was the Saudi Arabia of brackish water.
Yeah.
That we had billions of acre feet, 1,000 years worth of salty water. And why weren't we doing like the Israelis do? Why aren't we desalinating this stuff with the high-tech desal plants that have been developed? And we said just down the road in Fort Bliss, Texas, that Fort Bliss had gone in with the city of El Paso and said, tell you what, we'll split the cost. You pay half, we'll pay half on a top-end desalination plant. And now they're cleaning 30 million gallons of water every night for the base and for the city. And we said, don't we have 3 Air Force bases? Don't we have 2 national labs?
Right.
And a missile range and a bunch of Indian reservations? Why aren't we doing this? And so, anyway, this is the way that we can start to bring this state together and have some wealth building, not just in Albuquerque and Santa Fe, we're all just sick of it, and take some lessons from southeastern New Mexico, where you guys are good at creating wealth, and especially the time of inflation, where you can't print oil,
right?
You can't print gas, you can't print corn, soybeans, water. This is what we have. And instead, you know what we want to do? We're going to ask the government for more handouts. Like, wouldn't it be cool if for once America said, thank goodness for New Mexico and everything New Mexico produces, rather than, what can the federal government give me today? And that's what I want to do as governors. And Governor Zanetti wants to change this state.
Well, and when we talk about energy and, like you said, these resources and things, the one question that I've yet to get answered from anyone, and it's really to those that believe in using foreign oil as opposed to what we have, in our own backyard. The logic is, a lot of people say we don't want to drill here because it's bad for the environment or whatever. They use the green excuse. And I'm like, so where do you want to get the oil from? And right now they're saying, well, we're going to get it from Russia and Saudi Arabia and everything else. And I'm like, you realize we have way more regulations on the oil we pull out of the ground here versus the oil that's being pulled out of the ground in Russia and Middle East. So if you want greener planet, you should be rooting for us to do it rather than them, because we're going to do it with less impact on the earth. I don't understand why that no one can answer that logic for me. It's like, well, we want it cleaner, but okay, we'll just get it from the place that they do it the dirtiest. You know what I mean? I don't understand that.
They do.
Yeah.
And you're making a great point, and I'll tell you what my conclusion is it's not about logic or reason or helping the economy or even helping the environment. It's about power and control. And so if you view it through that lens, man, it's all about power and control.
Sure.
Okay, got it. And Mike, they know it's not going to work. What, we're going to get oil from Russia now? Yeah, give me a break. Oh, and by the way, last month, it was late April. The Chinese were in Saudi Arabia saying, hey, look, we want to trade oil in our currency, the yuan, and not just dollars anymore. And so you're seeing a shift in the Saudis moving more toward China and Russia than they are toward us. And so, no, it's stunning to me that we've got a president who will, visit Venezuela or Iran or Saudi Arabia, but won't bother to come down to Roswell or Carlsbad or Houston or Odessa to talk about oil. And so, no, they're working against this country, and we need to stand up against it.
Sure.
And so you're seeing it. I mean, you're seeing DeSantis in Florida pushing back against the federal government. Well, tell you what, Governor Zanetti is going to push back against the federal government because this is getting out of hand, and they're working to the detriment of the United States and to the detriment of our state. So you got to stand up against these guys.
Well, and I honestly believe when you look at New Mexico as a whole, and like you mentioned earlier, we talk about the resources and we talk about what amazing value that this state has in terms of the resources, the people, and everything, the culture, and all of that. But the thing that I think people are hopefully starting to realize is because of our policies in this state, because of the things that the direction that's been chosen for decisions made in in legislative stuff, a lot of it, all the states around us prosper when it comes to business growth and all that, except us. There is nothing different in this terms of resources and manpower and wealth or any of that stuff that Texas, Utah, or Arizona has that we don't have. It's all in the policies that we have versus what those states have. And that's, in my opinion, the difference between why businesses are showing up in those places and less likely to come here to New Mexico. Am I close in your opinion?
I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
It's leadership, and you're right. It's policies, because we actually have more natural resource and we have more wealth than some of our neighboring states, and yet we don't use it.
Sure.
So then people say, and you brought up the point, all right, so how are we going to fight this machine that's kind of entrenched and is benefiting, from the current system at the expense of the state as a whole?
Mm-hmm.
And Mike, here's where I think we take a lesson from President Trump. Because remember, the first 2 years in office, did he even have support from the Republicans in Congress?
No, they kind of looked at him as a bit of a joke there until about when it was getting down to a couple candidates left there. But yeah, you're right. He was kind of looked at as, oh yeah, that guy, he's funny.
Right. So with no legislative support, think what he did. Every week he got his cabinet together and he said, all right, guys, your job is you're going to tell me how many regulations did you revoke this week? How many did you erase? And Mike, it got to be a competition as you went around the table. Each department was saying, sir, we got rid of 23 regulations this week. We got rid of 42. We only did 16. This kind of thing. And Mike, it was every week. Every week they were cutting back the regulations. And what happened to the U.S. economy? And we did a U-turn. Mm-hmm. And suddenly we were heading back up from those Obama years. And then after 2 years of this, the Republicans finally got it through their thick skulls. Man, maybe we better get on board with this guy.
Yeah.
And that's when we got the tax cuts. And so can the governor do that in this state? By the way, fun fact, New Mexico has more cabinet positions than the federal government.
Really?
Yes.
I wonder how many of those were just created to do a favor for somebody. You know what I mean?
Right. We're so top-heavy.
Yeah.
My job as governor will be to shrink the power and control of Santa Fe. How many politicians do you know come in here and say, Mike, I want to have far less power in the governor's office 4 years from now because I want to be pushing power and control down to the local level. And you start with regulatory relief that the governor could do here without legislative support. And I believe you could see this state do the U-turn like it did under Trump. And there are a number of conservative Democrats, not the progressives, but just regular traditional Democrats,
right,
who I believe would get on board with this if they just had a little bit of political cover. And together, we could turn this state around. So I think we start there. And in this environment of inflation,
mm-hmm.
New Mexico has what America needs. We could be a huge success story.
I'm kind of curious because this is kind of my opinion on, but I'm kind of curious what you think on this. Is like you said, turning the economy, getting things. But as you look at like these measurables that they look and you always see in whatever measurable it is, crime, education, whatever. Pick a statistic, doesn't matter. New Mexico's always in the bottom, whether they're 50th or 49th right. or 48th. There's it goes back and forth, but either way, they're perennially at the bottom of those lists. I believe that what you're talking about, some of this, I think that's like a linchpin to roll that over. Where if you begat one, you're going to find the others will start falling in line. It does that. Like once you bring growth, once you bring businesses, once you bring that's going to bring more experts. It's going to bring more people that are going to invest in the education. So guess what? You're going to see more money, more investment in the education in this state. So maybe those numbers. What I'm trying to say is I think by fixing one of these things, you're going to find that the other stuff starts to line up and becoming less of a problem and more like I think one's going to work itself out once you do one thing. It's like unraveling a knot. You unravel one little part of the knot. Next thing you know, the rest of it starts getting a little easier to undo. I believe New Mexico's kind of in that boat. Does it make sense what I'm talking about a little bit there?
Mike, you're making me smile at the other end of the phone. Yes. Let's talk about schools. And schools and the economy go together.
Yeah.
But and you'll see this where you have wealthy states, you have good schools. Where you have poor states, you have poor schools.
Right.
But let's talk about how do we fix education in 3 easy steps. Like step one, we've got to declaw this public education department. New Mexico didn't used to have this bureaucratic monstrosity up in Santa Fe
mm-hmm.
dictating, these rules and regulations down to Jal, New Mexico, and Roswell, and Albuquerque, and Taos, as if they were all the same communities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and in the last 20 years, by the way, it was a Bill Richardson invention. We didn't used to have this stupid thing. In the last 20 years, public education has not improved. So if you had an employee who did a lousy job for 20 years, you wouldn't keep him or her.
Mm-hmm.
And so can the governor get rid of the PED? No, but the governor could shrink it. And this is where we get to the rules and regulations part. Start cutting back on those rules and regs. Now you don't need as many employees to enforce rules that are non-existent. Step 2, push the power and authority down to the local level. Local schools working with the teachers, the parents, the school boards at the local level, it always works better.
Sure.
And step 3, here's the financial advisors in Eddie, and you know that I've been very blessed. I've gotten to manage billions of dollars, and we have billions of dollars that need to be managed in this state. But anyway, follow the money in education. The money flow starts with politicians. Then, Mike, it flows to bureaucrats. Then the money flows to unions. Oh, and then the money flows to administrators. Then it goes to teacher, parent, child. Like, flip it. Have the money follow the child.
Yeah.
12, 14, 16 grand per kid. Any school you want. Trade school, public school, private school, parochial school, home school, trade, art school, tech school. I don't care. Watch what happens. Now, if you have a school that starts to teach CRT and you object, pull your kid out of the school and 14 grand leaves with the kid. That'll change behavior. And so, right, if you do those 3 things, and then you combine it with a growing economy where the kids now feel like they have options. Hey, wait a minute. Zanetti's talking about high-tech desal? Well, wait a minute. All right, I can have a high-tech job in desalinating water, or are we also going to need plumbers, electricians, HVAC in that area? Yes, yes. And without water, we don't have life. And you see what's going on with this drought, and you can't have the cities constantly competing with the ranchers and the farmers for the water. So let's use this gift that God gave us of salty water, and let's clean it. And by the way, people say, oh, Greg, it's the energy cost. Remember we talked about this? We talked about those small modular nuclear reactors?
Yeah.
Nuclear reactors, yeah, right. They're about the size of a McDonald's. This is not competing with oil and gas because we need you guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of these will power 60,000 homes. They won't melt down. This is 5th generation stuff. This isn't 3 Mile Island of the 70s.
Yeah.
Well, what if during the day, weren't we the atomic state? Weren't we the uranium state? What if we invested in small modular nuclear reactors all over the state, not just in Albuquerque and Santa Fe? And we said, all right, we're going to pair up the small modular nuclear reactor with the desal plant.
Yeah.
During the day, the reactor will run your city. At night, it's the energy to clean 50 million gallons of water for the next day.
Yeah.
And then we take the excess electricity and we sell it to California at a profit. Now, you've got a plan, because without energy, you don't have an economy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And without an economy, right, without an economy, you don't have money for schools, roads, and bridges.
Nobody goes without juice.
Right. What if New Mexico became the water state and the energy state? You don't think things would change here fast?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
I'm kind of curious. Now, this is a little off topic, but kind of in the same vein. I don't know why. You know, when you talk about, I just like using these terms, but say big gas, big oil and gas, big this. Why isn't big nuclear like? I don't understand why they don't invest in like a huge education campaign, because really, nuclear, in my opinion, has been a viable answer for our energy problems for a long time. I think there's many ways we can do that, but because of the stigma that comes with nukes, and everyone thinks of 3 dog tails and everything else when there's a nuclear plant around.
Right.
I mean, why isn't the big nuclear running around just trying to educate the planet on, it's like, why aren't you spending billions of dollars on teaching everybody why nuclear's cleaner and safer than everybody else? And I just don't understand why that campaign hasn't made, because I think I think once people get over the stigma of the 3 Mile Islands and the things that, potentially have happened in the past, but technology has mitigated that stuff to very, very, very minute, possibilities here. And if you think about it, like you weigh the risk of a coal plant or an oil and gas refinery. the dangers there are probably as equal as it would be at a nuclear plant. Just you know what I mean? I just think that we are so stigmatized on nuclear that I'm like, why isn't the nuclear energy money people like just going gangbusters, not trying to re-educate everybody on what the value of it? I don't understand that. I know it's a little off topic, but it's kind of in the same vein.
No, it's a great point.
Yeah,
because that small vocal minority just shouts everybody down and scares everybody to death.
Yeah.
So you have to have some leadership that says, we're not listening to you. We are proceeding with this. And by the way, there's a little sliver of good news in the environmental movement on nuclear because there's basically no carbon footprint.
Mm-hmm.
There's a group in the environmental camp that's saying, we need to relook this. This isn't 3 Mile Island of 60 years ago, 50 years ago. This is different times, and so there's your wedge. Hey, look, we've got some environmental support. We're moving ahead, but Mike, even without that, governors and Eddie would want to move ahead.
All right,
and we could fund this. And so we have this massive permanent fund in this state. You know what? We're investing this in stocks and bonds. Some of the investments are in Thailand, Vietnam, halfway around the globe. Why are we investing over there?
Yeah.
And not just in our own state? And again, watch what happens here. We can turn this thing around. I'll throw in one more thing, though. If we don't get this border issue and the crime thing squared away, if you don't feel safe, I mean, all the stuff that we just talked about, it's not going to matter.
Sure.
And so, otherwise you're Chicago or Baltimore, and
right.
You see what's going on there. So I view the border through a different lens, I think, than my opponents in this race. And by the way, we've not been negative against anybody in this race. It's just, I'm General Zanetti. I view the border through the lens of the military and a national security issue.
Sure.
Like if you were Putin right now, and you really wanted to mess with America, what would you be doing on our southern border?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be doing all kinds of chaos there. Absolutely.
Right. And so then I hear, all these people say, I'm going to deploy the National Guard to the border. And my first reaction is, all right, got it. Roger that. Platoon size, company, battalion size, elements. What are the MOSs? What are the specialties? How are you going to integrate with Border Patrol and ICE and those alphabet agencies down there? What's the chain of command? Basics that unless you've been in the military, you don't understand.
Right.
Meanwhile,
I know Top Gun 2 just came out and everyone loves it and everything, but what you're saying is they just don't show up with a bunch of fighters when they make a phone call and 10,000 people just don't show up at a drop of a hat, I thought that's what happened.
Well, like then there's the other piece to it. It's the financial piece.
Yeah.
Does anybody in your listening audience believe the Biden administration is going to pay for the New Mexico Army National Guard to go to the border?
Right.
No. Mike, that means it's a state mission. We're paying for it. All right, so every dime that's going to pay a soldier standing on the border, that money isn't going to schools, roads, and bridges.
Yeah.
If we don't do that, by the way, I'm for doing this mission, so please don't misunderstand.
Sure.
We need to do this. But we could end up like Texas, and last month Texas relieved its adjutant general because in a knee-jerk way, they had deployed their National Guard to the border, and everybody went, yay! You had a bunch of soldiers standing out in the sun, sleeping in the dirt at night, not getting chow, calling home to their wives and saying, I don't know what I'm doing here, honey. This mission, you can finish the sentence. And meanwhile, they were draining their treasury. So they weren't securing the border, and they were losing all that money. They're starting over again. It might be good to have General Zanetti, who really understands money, to be on that border mission rather than someone who doesn't understand it and just does the political thing. This is what we're going to do.
Sure.
And anyway, you get the idea.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I agree. We need to spend money on border security, but let's spend money on things that are actually working and things that aren't just making people feel warm and fuzzy inside. Does that make sense? Like sending the National Guard, yeah, like you said, that makes everyone feel better, but is it doing anything? Or can we take whatever money that would have cost to done that and maybe use technology or use some other method that doesn't rely on a bunch of people living in the dirt waiting for something to happen? You know what I mean?
I do, and we have amazing technologies, and you're still going to need boots on the ground, but the boots on the ground can be used much more effectively when you get a force multiplier of technology and everybody understands the mission and the chain of command. And by the way, when I was commanding general at Guantanamo Bay, we met with the Cubans once a month on border issues. And if you get cooperation on the other side of the border, things go a lot easier. And so could the governor be doing that here? Yes, but nobody talks like this. Plus, remember, we're going to have to integrate with Texas and with Arizona on this thing,
Absolutely.
too. Otherwise, and so anyway, there are complexities to this, but it's all doable, and we have the talent in this state to do it. But again, it always comes back to leadership.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
well, we're about out of time, but I know this is but it is a popular thing, and I just want to, with the shootings in Uvalde, and I guess there was some last night in was it Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's so the gun violence thing's back here, but kind of back in the forefront in people's minds. But your opinion on some of this stuff, I just want to get it out there so people can know what you think on some of these things.
I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment, and anybody who is saying that, it's the guns that are causing this problem, I'll just tell you this. You look at Chicago, you look at Baltimore, you look at these inner cities with the most, Washington, D.C., with the most strict gun laws in the nation. They had almost as many people killed in Chicago over the Memorial Day weekend as they did in Uvalde. And I'm not minimizing what happened at that school. It's all a tragedy thing.
Sure.
But we didn't even talk about it anymore. And so you know what it is. We've got some mental health problems in this state. We've got a culture that, from the left, that glamorizes out of Hollywood shooting and killing and these games that the kids play. Then we locked everybody down. No one's talking about this.
Right.
But when we locked everybody down and they were only doing social media alone, isolated in their rooms, you talk to the teachers about how it's affected these kids and how arrested their development was. And the left won't take any responsibility for this. All they want to do is blame the gun. No, we've got this wrong. We've got a culture problem, we've got a spiritual problem, and we've got a group that wants to take away your rights, and they use tragedy to do it.
Yeah.
No, that's not our problem. So anyway.
I think one of the steps, me personally, that we as a society need to do on terms of gun violence and really a lot of other problems in our country. I personally feel that we need to Susan G. Komen the heck out of mental health. And what I mean by that is, when we talk about breast cancer, I mean, there's pink ribbons and gazillions of dollars being raised, and people are doing walks and charity events to raise more money for that. I think we need to do the exact same thing to mental health, just get it to where there's billions of dollars being raised, which incentivizes private companies to do more research and to do so we can actually learn maybe why we think and do these things this way and mitigate it that way. And even some of our, transgender, all these other issues we're dealing with, throwing the money and the resources at mental health, I think will work some of that out. That's just my thoughts. Am I sounding is that legit, you think, or do you think that sounds like a pipe dream type scenario?
I think it's totally legit. And we used to do this. We used to have mental hospitals, kind of dormitory-esque type things. But when a policeman, picked up, someone who clearly had mental health issues, there was a place for them to go. And then we dismantled that whole system for mainstreaming. And the result has just been a disaster. And I think you've picked up from this. I'm a small government guy. But we're going to have to do something on the mental health part of this, because until we address it, we're going to have more of these types of issues. And so, yes, I'm totally with you. And could we do that in New Mexico? Yes. So anyway, no, I think you're thinking clearly.
Good deal. Of course, we're getting down to crunch time here on voting. If folks want to learn more about Greg Zanetti, the governor, and your campaign, what's the best place to steer folks right now?
Oh, Mike, if they just go to Zanetti for Governor, so it's Z as in zebra, ANETTI for governor.com. You'll learn all about me. And here's the inside baseball stuff. Turnout right now is very low, and everybody's kind of wondering why. But, Chavez County, man, you guys could swing the election. I mean, you're rock-solid Republican. And so my request to the voters of Chavez County, if you like what you heard here today, if you all turn out in a big way and vote for Zanetti, I would be very grateful. And we can beat MLG. You watch. And so, anyway,
I try to play
a low turnout election. Go ahead.
As a radio show host, I play neutral on things. Obviously, as a human being, I have my own opinions and things. But I will just leave it at this: if people vote for the same types of people, policies, and decisions, people that do the same kinds of things time after time, and you vote for those people and you hope for different results, that's your fault, not their fault. And I really think you can't just, you can't. And I'm so tired. And I know this is like you're hearing a lot of Republicans say this now, and it's an argument that makes me angry. The whole thing about, you're wasting your vote on this person because they're not going to have a chance to get the numbers and things here. And I'm like, yeah, but if you're telling people to vote for the lesser of two evils because of this, then are you not in by default ruining what this should be election processes? I mean, and I think the primary is that time where we really get to say, you know what, forget who can win this and that. Let's vote. I'm one of those people that's kind of like, in my heart, I want to vote for the person that is truly the right person for the job, not the one that I think can get the numbers. You know what I mean? And I hate that people use that strategy as to get people to vote. And I'm like, no, because that's why we've got the problems in this country we have. We're always voting for the settled person instead of the person we actually think could do that job. And I wish we would ideologically change that mindset. I know I'm spitting into the wind on this, but to me, that does so much detriment to our country sometimes. So please vote with the people that you believe are going to make the positive changes you want.
Yeah, and Mike, we're picking up steam. Las Vegas odds. I didn't know Las Vegas did odds.
I think you bet on anything.
Yeah. Like, we are moving up the charts in Zanetti for governor really fast under the Vegas odds. Something's going on here with this campaign because we haven't gone negative.
Yeah.
Everything you heard today was positive. What are we going to do for this state?
Sure.
And I think the message is, I know the message is resonating.
Good.
So,
good,
yes, go Chavez County, vote Zanetti. And Mike, thank you. You've always been kind to me. And let's stay in touch, after the election.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, if you do end up becoming our next governor here, I hope I get to see you more than our current one.
I promise you that. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Friend.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye now.
Bye now. All right. That was Greg Zanetti, candidate for governor. Thank you to him and for spending some time with us. In all seriousness, we talk about this with this election here, and I understand. And I see the stuff online. It's like, that's a waste to vote for this person. And I'm like, I understand your logic and I get what you're trying to say, but to me, that goes against the fabric of what this country should be. The right person that you believe should do the job is the person you should vote for. And when people tell me to do different than that, I have a bit of a problem with that. So that's just me. All right, it is 8:52. Let's go ahead and pause for some news. Wall Street Town Hall Business Update, quick break as well. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Did you feel the ground shake? Well, lots of people did, reporting an earthquake that was felt in Eddy County, a timber measuring 4.5 magnitude, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. It was centered in an area south-southwest of Whites City, New Mexico. And then another 4.4 magnitude shaker was recorded 21 miles northwest of Toyah, Texas. and that was followed by a 3.3 magnitude shake in the same area about an hour later. No damage or injuries have been reported with any of this activity. The Leadership Roswell Alumni Association choosing someone to receive its 2022 Community Leadership Award. A banquet at the New Mexico Military Institute is planned for June 23rd to recognize the honoree. This year's recipient, Jason Perry, a Roswell City Council member and local pastor. Perry will become the 25th person to receive the Outstanding Leader Award from the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Could get some showers and thunderstorms today as a cold front moves into our area. Skies will be partly cloudy and will hit the mid-70s on the afternoon high. Few showers this evening, partly cloudy overnight and down to the low 60s, and then a much better chance of thunderstorms on Friday. Our high in the mid-80s. Then we heat up and turn sunny again for the weekend, upper 90s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Delta Airlines expects second quarter revenue will be back to pre-pandemic 2019 levels. The airline said revenue per seat should be up 8 percentage points, better than it originally expected. However, the airline is facing surging prices for jet fuel. Other expenses, including labor, are up as well. President Biden on Wednesday said he was not briefed on the prospect of nationwide shortages of infant formula for about 2 months, and he acknowledged the strain on families as his administration struggles to address the situation. The U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Reform has invited NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder to appear at a hearing later this month as part of the congressional investigation into the team's workplace conduct. Chairwoman Carolyn Maloney said Wednesday they sent letters to the league and team requesting the presence of Goodell and Snyder on June 22nd. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
This is Luis Sanchez, your Republican candidate for Congress in New Mexico's 1st District. I grew up in Albuquerque in a small little trailer in the South Valley and was the first person in my family to go to college and live the American dream. I've worked in the medical field for 28 years and am one of the owners of Caliber's indoor shooting ranges. I'm running for Congress because I see that American dream slipping away from the next generation. Socialists like Melanie Stansbury and AOC have inflation out of control in this country, and we have the highest unemployment rate in the nation. And those radical socialists won't stop until our country is ruined. In Congress, I'll uphold our conservative values, fight for all of our freedoms, just like I did when the governor tried to shut down New Mexico's small businesses. I am asking for your vote early or on June 7th. I'll work hard to protect your constitutional rights, secure our elections, and fight for real immigration reform to secure our borders. It's time to take our state and country back. I'm Luis Sanchez, and I approve this message. Paid for by Sanchez for New Mexico.
This July, Roswell becomes Ground Zero.
I'm Clyde Lewis, and you're listening to Ground Zero.
The International UFO Museum and Research Center, in conjunction with Roswell's Talk FM, are bringing nationally syndicated radio show host Clyde Lewis to Roswell for the 2022 UFO Festival. Clyde will be broadcasting his show Ground Zero live from the International UFO Museum on Friday, July 1st from 8 to 11 p.m. Join Clyde as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The truth is out there.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard, aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 8:59. Stay tuned next hour. About 9:15 or so, we're going to have Crystal Noble join us from the Humane Society, give us an update on what's happening there. Hey, I do want to remind folks that this Friday, First Friday, going to be happening here downtown in the Main Street corridor. We will have Main Street Roswell on in the 9 o'clock hour tomorrow to kind of give us all the fun and frivolity that's going to be planned for First Friday. However, while you're out and about doing First Friday tomorrow, I want to invite you to swing on by. The Chaves County Cancer Fund is pleased to announce that Walk for Hope is back. They're going to be doing Walk for Hope, and they're going to be doing some team registrations. They're doing them right now. But if you want, you can sign up out at First Friday. But if you can't, if you're not going to be able to be out there, team registrations are now being accepted, and you can get your team packet by emailing teams@walkforhopechavezcounty.com. Again, that's teams@walkforhopechavezcounty.com. Or come by First Friday, this Friday. They're going to be set up in front of Imaginat scrapbooks and gifts. They're going to be out in front there, so come in, do a little shopping, see what's all going there, and then visit the Chaves County Cancer Fund and sign your teams up. But beginning tomorrow out there at First Friday. All right, it's 9 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Well, this may do a little something to ease our pain at the pump. OPEC and its allies, including Russia, agreeing to hike oil production by 648,000 barrels a day in July and August. President Biden thinking about paying a visit to Saudi Arabia.
After the 2018 killing of U.S.-based journalist Jamal Khashoggi, Joe Biden vowed to make a pariah out of Saudi Arabia's ruling family. But with a tight global oil supply and soaring gas prices, the White House is exploring a possible presidential visit to the oil-rich kingdom this summer. A spokeswoman declined to comment on whether Mr. Biden will travel to Saudi Arabia, but said the president stands by his pledge that the Saudis would pay a price. Greg Clugston, Washington.
There's a hurricane warning. It's a warning for an economic hurricane issued by Jamie Dimon, the J.P. Morgan Chase chief executive, sounding the alarm over record inflation, the impact of the Ukraine war, and actions by the Fed. Dimon warning Americans, you better brace yourself. Mass shooting at a medical building, Tulsa, Oklahoma. 4 people dead. Police say the gunman is also dead. Apparently died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Happened on the St. Francis Hospital campus in Tulsa. Nothing yet on a motive. The alleged Buffalo, New York supermarket gunman will face additional charges, this on top of those previously leveled against him. Texas Governor Greg Abbott asking that special legislative committees be convened to examine a host of issues in the aftermath of the Uvalde school massacre. There is excitement and much pageantry in London and all across the British Empire as her subjects celebrate Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, record 70 years on the throne. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is down 106 points, while the NASDAQ is up 74 and the S&P 2 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I'm about to compare a pepper shaker to a cash-out refinance. Hang with me. You know when you're at a restaurant and they ask, would you like some fresh ground pepper? And then they crank that giant tube, but almost nothing comes out? For me, only a certain amount of time is socially acceptable to wait. I know that getting that pepper out might make my life better, but it just seems too impossible. And that's what we hear people say about the cash-out refinance. People realize that the value of their home has gone up like hot pepper the last few years, leaving all this extra money sitting inside their home. But is it too hard to get out? It's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage. If you're interested in cashing out the extra pepper in your home, we're good at doing all the work while you just sit back and relax. And often, your mortgage payment and years in the loan will stay the same. If you'd like to hear about your options,
we are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Members of the French diplomatic corps dropping their traditional reserve to launch a rare strike. Angered by planned reforms they worry will hurt their careers and France's global standing. The BBC's Hugh Schofield in Paris.
It's, of course, a politely understated day of action, but at its heart is a firm challenge to the reforms of President Macron. In order to create more flexibility at the top end of the public sector, he wants to merge the senior branches of the civil service so that high flyers can move sideways from ministry to ministry. But top rankers at the Quai d'Orsay say this ignores the uniqueness of the diplomatic profession, built as it is around the knowledge of languages and the ability to operate in often uncomfortable foreign settings. France is reckoned to have the third biggest diplomatic network in the world after the US and China. But cost-cutting has stretched resources and badly hit staff morale.
And that is the BBC's Hugh Schofield. News and analysis, townhall.com. It remains to be seen whether Japan's construction industry will have any appetite for this.
Researchers at the University of Tokyo have developed a technology that can turn table scraps into food cement for construction and other uses. They say it's the world's first process for making cement entirely from food waste, and the tensile strength of their product is nearly quadruple that of ordinary concrete. The researchers say an outer coating could fix one of the cement's most serious shortcomings, a weakness to water and the likelihood that it would be eaten by rodents and other pests. Food waste, a big problem in Japan. The researchers say their material can be reused and be composted when it's no longer needed. John Scott reporting.
Fewer Americans applied for jobless aid last week. The Labor Department says unemployment applications dropped by 11,000 to 200,000. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome. And I mean welcome to hour number 3.
Trace Inviernos.
That throw you off a little bit?
A warm welcome. It just messes up the timing, man.
I know it does. I know. I do it on purpose.
It's a vocal gymnastics thing. I train myself to say like a certain string of words, and every now and again I'll just throw an extra word in there to see if it throws off the rest of the line. And it always does.
I know your DJ brain, because your DJ brain's the same as my DJ brain,
right.
and you get very much stuck. You know, you get in certain parts of things, you have, hey, this works, that's why I do it.
I want to say a big old thank you to each and every one of you out there in the land of the brand for spending just a little portion of your morning routine with me, whether it was a few minutes, a few hours, or the whole shebang-a-bang. I appreciate you spending just a little portion of your time in my realm.
There you go. So
something like that.
So yes, when I pause, I do that to mess with Sean. It's my fun game. That's how I live my world, you know.
This is our 8 Mile. This is like where we improv rap, and if we throw one off the game, one or the other off the game, the whole rap is messed up.
Inside baseball fun.
That's right.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, like baseball players and stuff. You're in the dugout there, and they light your shoe on fire or whatever, you know, or do the little pranks or hey,
it's hazing.
Yeah, well, but like friendly hazing.
Yeah,
not like purple hazing.
we're not going deep hazing.
Yeah, not like I just got in jail because of a college hazing scandal. Nothing like that.
Post a sign on your door says "Gone hazing."
Just little stuff like making them say the wrong word, you know.
The danger of that, though, is I know how filthy I am off these microphones. You mess with this, you're messing with our money.
That is a bit of a Russian roulette situation, yes.
I have it under control to a point.
Yes, but happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you're having a great week so far. First week off for the kids and enjoying it. Cooler today.
Yeah.
Enjoy that. I ain't going to lie. Like, there's like, I got stuff today, but at least the weather's nice.
Yeah.
And nice by different.
I said out loud several times, I get more done in weather like this. Like, I feel like I'm more productive.
Yeah.
Dreary weather.
Yes and no, because there is a bit of a lazy streak that does enter when it's like cloudy out and you're like, I don't want to do that. I just kind of want to sit here and stare at the wall and enjoy the day for a minute. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel the hot, doesn't create stress.
Yeah, you don't feel like I'm gonna have to leave here, rush to my car, get my AC going, as quick as I can.
Yeah. So enjoy today. We might get some rain. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, good day to walk the dogs. The pavement's not high. It wasn't misting when you were out there? Well, they said that our rain chances are all day. It's not just this afternoon like it normally is. They say there's like a chance this morning, chance this afternoon, and then our chances actually increase tonight.
Nice.
So I'll tell you all that officially here in a minute. So there's something else I was going to mention. It just completely spaced out of my head here. I did mention there for folks at the very bottom of the hour, last hour, tomorrow is First Friday.
Yes.
Main Street's going to be hopping downtown here tomorrow. Invite you to come. We're going to have Main Street Roswell on in the 9 o'clock hour tomorrow to kind of give you the preview of actually some of the events and things that are planned for the June 1st Friday. But I do know that Walk for Hope is happening.
Yes.
It's happening. It's not happening Friday, but they are now starting team registrations and things like that. If you're not going to be out on First Friday tomorrow, you can shoot an email to teams@walkforhopechavezcounty.com. Again, that's teams@walkforhopechavezcounty.com.
Right.
If you're like, that's a lot of words to type, just come on out to Imagine That tomorrow. Imagine That scrapbooks and gifts. It's just mush mouthing today. Right downtown here. Come on, swing by there. They're going to have a table booth set up where you can sign up your teams and learn more about Walk for Hope. And in case you're not familiar, Walk for Hope is always been an annual event here. Took a little hiatus here with COVID and that kind of stuff, but they're back full. And this is one of the largest fundraising event for the Chaves County Cancer Fund.
Yes.
The Chaves County Cancer Fund is a great local organization that helps families right here in Chaves County that have family members battling cancer. Obviously, they don't help with the medical treatment.
Right. They pay for the ancillary stuff that gets forgotten about when cancer treatment is the priority.
Bills getting behind, groceries are needed, things like that. Especially if the cancer patient is kind of the breadwinner for the family, then they really step up and say, hey, here's money, make sure the car's getting paid. So really tries to alleviate some of the stress, financial stress on the family so they can focus more on getting that family treated for cancer.
Yeah, and they've done an absolutely amazing job, helped out just in numerous families over the last decade or so.
Absolutely. So, excuse me, if you'd like to support, help out, come on out to First Friday. Visit.
Imagine That scrapbook.
Imagine That.
Yeah, they have a booth set up right in front there. You can get info. You can get your team signed up, find out when it's going to be, and I think it's going down at Cielo Grande like it usually does.
I think so. I haven't heard all the details of the actual event yet, but I'm just glad to hear that they're back in business.
I'll have to go with Mama Cat and find out what I can.
Good deal. But we'll get more to come, and I'm sure we'll get them on to promote and get people signed up teams. And if you never participated in Walk for Hope before, you should do one.
It's an awesome night.
Thanks.
It is an awesome night. I mean, you really feel a lot of emotion there. You get to hear some amazing stories of some survivors. The survivors lap is always the first lap. That's people who have had cancer survived or are walking for a family member they've lost. That's the first lap, and then everybody else gets to
I ain't gonna lie. It's one of those events where you go through every single emotion, from anger to laughter to sadness to happiness.
Yeah.
Like it covers the gamut, and because you're sad when you hear about the people that lost, you get mad when you hear about some of this,
And then you realize, I haven't seen this person in 3-4 months. That's exciting.
But then you come out and you're happy because at the end of the day, people are coming and having fun. There's games and food and music and just celebration. So there's that fun side, and then there's the inspirational stuff too. When you come and they see that first lap, and you're seeing that, and it's usually a large group of people in that first lap of cancer survivors, people that have won their battle or are still battling and are fighting that battle. And you see those folks walking around, you're like, all right, now I get why we're here today, and that's the reason right there. And
well, that's one of the biggest reasons. Another big reason, and I got to find out if they're doing it this year, is the Save the Tatas booth. Have you ever bitten into a booby cookie?
I have.
They're delicious.
Usually they're
fantastic.
out at Honda, right?
Yeah.
Usually Roswell Honda does
The best part about booby cookies, no two are the same. You can get small ones, you can get some real big ones, some mommy milkers.
Yeah. And I think, are those Travis County Cancer Fund cookies?
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was direct from them or someone did that and then just gave the money
I don't know
to the Cancer
if the
Fund.
Save the Tatas organization is separate from Travis County Cancer Fund, but I think they're connected.
They usually do that in October time frame, but in the meantime here. So it's a great thing to help out. So if you're out and about on First Friday and you listen to music and doing some of the fun things, swing on by Imagine That. Check out some of the cool stuff in there. They got a lot of cool stuff too. And then of course visit the booth there and see if you can help them out. So
should be a good time.
Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you up to date with the weather here. I think you'll like some of it anyway. And then about a few minutes here, we're going to have Crystal Noble join us with the Roswell Humane Society, give us an update on what's happening there. Later on, we'll update you with news and your Wall Street business update and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and take a gander at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Could get some showers and thunderstorms today as a cold front moves into our area. Skies will be partly cloudy and will hit the mid-70s on the afternoon high. Few showers this evening, partly cloudy overnight and down to the low 60s, and then a much better chance of thunderstorms on Friday. Our high in the mid-80s. Then we heat up and turn sunny again for the weekend, upper 90s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 62 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 75%. Winds currently out of the northeast at 6 miles per hour. It's going to be cooler today. 70s. We're not getting out of the 70s, folks. That makes me happy. I'm not going to lie. But we are looking, it looks like a 20% chance at some showers and thunderstorms through today. Like I said earlier, sorry, I got the hiccups. There, they stopped. Sorry. The showers and stuff we got chances throughout the day. Could see a little bit here this morning, this afternoon. But now they're kind of saying most of it's going to shift towards the afternoon, but you can still see a few showers or two here before lunch. They say cloudy, high of 77. Winds will be out of the northeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then tonight, our chance of rain bumps up to 40%. Mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 63. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. 50% chance of rain for your Friday. They're talking mainly for the afternoon. However, they say some of the storms could be severe that move through the area. Mostly sunny otherwise. Highs back into the mid-80s, 86 for a high tomorrow. East winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Those will later shift to the south later in the day. They're saying expectations of 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain. Except for, if an actual storm comes through the area. Friday night, we're looking at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy, overnight low of 59 degrees, south winds 10 to 20. And then looking at your weekend, Saturday, mostly sunny, hot, back up into the near 100 mark, 98 officially with west winds 5 to 15. And then Sunday, mostly sunny and hot, back over the century mark, 101 for a high. And it's going to be more of that next week as well. Monday, 102, Tuesday, 103, down to a cool 97 on Wednesday. So enjoy your 77 today because it's going to gradually get warmer from here. All right, it is 17 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a 3-minute commercial break. And then on the other side, Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society will join us. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Jay Block for governor.
J Block, conservative, veteran, leader. J Block is the only choice to stand up and defeat Michelle Lujan Grisham. Mr. Block is a veteran of combat, serving in Afghanistan, a nuclear commander, and winner of the New Mexico State Republican Convention. As an America First conservative, Mr. Block has turned blue seats red and has never lost a race. Mr. Block will end the madness in Santa Fe once and for all. He's not a weatherman. He's not a rhino. J Block is a conservative, veteran, and a leader. Vote June 7th in the Republican primary.
Paid for by Friends for J Block.
Have you ever thought, Mom and Dad are beginning to need more help, but with a busy job and raising a family, you just don't have the extra time? Personal Care by Design is just what you're looking for. We can be there when you can't, from 1 hour a day to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our caregivers are carefully screened, and we are the only personal care service that is overseen by a registered nurse. Competitive rates, great people, and experience is what sets us apart. So when you need extra help at home with your loved one, you can count on Personal Care by Design. Personal, private, and protected. Call us at 575-625-9471 for your personal care needs and receive a free nursing evaluation. That number again is 575-625-9471.
Do you ever differ with other people on any given subject? Well, if you're breathing, the answer is yes. From politics to sports, many fights have broken out over those things. We all have an opinion, and our opinion is correct. Many times it seems just too difficult to find common ground. The way I see it, we basically have 4 options when it comes to disagreeing with others. We can criticize them until they change. We can criticize them till they separate themselves from us. We can simply separate ourselves from them. Or finally, we can simply endure the discomfort. A guy by the name of Paul wrote to a church in the town of Ephesus. He said, "Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace." So, the next argument you have with someone, maybe lean towards simply enduring and love first.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
When you're not feeling well, the last thing you want to worry about is how soon you can get in to see your healthcare provider, or even finding a provider if you don't have one. Well, now you can feel better, knowing that the Loveless Healthcare Center in Roswell offers appointments for when you're not feeling well, or for checkups, annual exams, or any chronic issues that need attention. To schedule an appointment or to find a new healthcare provider, call 575-625-3222 today.
You know what happens in the spring. It's cleanup time, and AC&B, HF Sinclair, Navajo Refining, and the Boy Scouts are at it again to help clean up our community. The Scouts will come to your house and haul off items that you need to dispose of and have no way of hauling. The dates for pickup are May 28th, June 4, and June 11. Just call 575-513-0143 and let me know when, where, and what. Take advantage of this free service, and let's make Artesia clean and beautiful.
Playing dance music can help ward off mosquitoes. Now you have a reason to invite Pitbull to your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Humane Society, Crystal Noble back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm enjoying this really nice, gloomy, cloudy day.
It's kind of a nice change of pace. Where's my red pen, sweetie? Can I have it back? You can have this one. Okay. Sorry, this is my crutch. I hold this, and I feel a little weird when I don't have it in my hand.
It's his whoopee.
It is. It kind of is my whoopee. It is. I'm not going to lie. So I'm off kilter till I get my pen in my hand, and I'm good to go.
Do you know what it is, honestly? It's a smoker's thing.
It probably is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've done this, like, my whole radio career. I've had to have, like, I used to have a barrel in my hand, and I would play with it, and a barrel, I should clarify, one of those stress balls that you would get, but mine was from like one of the oil and gas companies, so it was shaped like an oil barrel. So I would sit there and play with it and hold it, and that was kind of my crutch. And then somebody broke it one day, and I did a whole Gestapo thing trying to find out who broke my barrel, and once we did, we punished them severely. And
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, but it's now transitioned to a pen that I hold.
Got it.
And so, It is my crutch. So rather than y'all learn about my weird idiosyncrasies, let's learn about the Roswell Humane Society.
Well,
how's things going?
We have the police department are out looking for 2 arsenic.
Someone's like putting arsenic in.
Sorry, not arsenic. Arsonist. Thank you.
Oh,
coffee has not kicked in yet. Sorry.
Fires, not poisoning.
Yes.
Okay,
fires.
I thought you were telling me there's like someone's going around poisoning pets. I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, fires. Yesterday morning around midnight, somebody set fire to one of the outside sheds on the thrift store, which is connected to us there by the quarantine area of the dogs.
Oh no. Do you think it's like homeless getting out of hand, or do you think it was deliberate?
It was deliberate because we saw him on camera walk up, set the fire, and walk off to the park.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was someone camping back there or something and got out of hand. Or
No, it was deliberate.
Oh,
It is on camera. Police have identified one of them.
Okay, so maybe we can get
The
some
other
closure
one
on this
was
one.
not close enough in camera range to get a full facial.
Well, you get one, and then you catch them, and hopefully they give up the other person. That's usually how that works in those scenarios. But at least you got leads and some kind of trail to follow. So, but I'm guessing this person may have done this at other places and stuff. It's a serial thing, or
Possibly.
Okay.
From what the cop said, he recognizes him as a new homeless person.
Okay.
Not 100% sure, like on how new and
Right, but
why
new to this area.
Why he recognizes
not
him.
on the radar of the police before.
Yeah.
Basically.
But right around 12:05 a.m., he walks up like he's looking for something, but goes in between the 2 storage units, kneels down, sets fire underneath the storage shed, and then just walks off.
Wow. Was there significant damage or anything, or anybody hurt or nothing? Everything's okay?
Not damage to any of the animals. All the animals are perfectly fine.
Okay.
But because of the severity of the locks, we have to keep people from breaking the locks. The fire department had to use the jaws of life to open the shed to make sure the fire wasn't inside the shed.
Gotcha.
Because of how bad the smoke was, they could not tell where the fire was actually coming from. They thought it was the entire building. That's how bad it was smoking.
Oh, wow.
So
it's probably
they had
some
to
smoke damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The smoke damage, water damage, and then all of the stuff that was in the shed because of the amount of water they had used to put the fire out was damaged too. So
I imagine whatever donations that were going to go for sale in that room are probably, most of that's not usable now.
Right.
Either because it's burnt or suffered from smoke damage or water damage or something like that. So that's unfortunate. But it could have been worse.
It really could have been
Yeah.
worse, and I'm glad that 2 officers pulled in the parking lot to do a speed trap because they're the ones that noticed the smoke.
Okay. So it was responded to pretty quickly, which probably saved a lot of more damage from being done. So good. But pretty scary, isn't it? That and you don't understand the logic there, because at the end of the day, what are you doing?
Why are you starting fires to
It's a place that's
buildings?
helping people, that's helping animals, that's helping people, that's helping a lot of. There's nothing nefarious going on there. I mean, obviously, this is probably a mental health related thing where this person's something's not firing right there, and in their head this logically makes sense. But hopefully they catch this person pretty quick, and hopefully before he decides to do this somewhere else that could do more damage and maybe cause actual harm to somebody. We don't want that happening.
Yeah, if the cops wouldn't have pulled in the parking lot, it might have engulfed enough to where it would have gotten towards the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way the shed is it's 3 feet away from the main outside fence, and then it's the back part of the dogs.
Wow.
So it was less than 20 feet away from the dogs.
Man. Thank God it didn't get to where that situation and it was wrapped up. But in the meantime, be on the lookout. Be vigilant around you, especially if you live in that area. I'm guessing, I don't know if this guy lives in that area or if it was but regardless, if you live in the area around the kennels and the thrift store there on East McGaffey or any blocks around that area there, just be a little more vigilant. Watch out who's walking around your neighborhoods and doing stuff around there and seeing. And if anything that doesn't feel right or look right, call the police. Let them sort it out. This is how neighborhood watch works. Really, this is the things like this is where neighborhood watches can come in. because I'm sure this person probably is out and about and has his little haunts that he visits and things, and we can catch him. So, and hopefully we can stop him from doing this again, or at least find out what happened this time. Is there a reason behind this, or is he just not stable, or is this like someone who wanted to adopt a dog and wasn't allowed to and now is mad? I don't know,
Or it could be one of the multiple people that we run off numerous times for stealing the stuff outside.
That'd be it too, where they, they're making it too hard for them to steal from it, so they get mad and try to burn. Maybe he was trying to get in. Maybe he thought in his logic that lighting it on fire would create an opening where he could get in. I mean, I don't know what the logic is. There could be a number of 1,000 things, but either way, none of them are good for the reason this happened. So please be vigilant about this, and for your own safeties as well. And if you live in those areas, and who knows, maybe he's a pyromaniac. Maybe he gets off on watching it, and he's just going to wait, oh, that didn't do it. I'm going to go burn something else. And it could be your house or statue or shed or whatever. So
could be Yoshi's shed.
Yeah, exactly. So, but other than that bad news, how's everything else on the...
Everything is good.
Good.
Other than, that setback yesterday, we're open, we're operating, the shed is on the exterior part, so...
Doesn't hamper business.
No.
Good. That's good. Just cost you some potential income from donations if people were nice enough to say, hey, I got furniture and clothing, and that stuff's now all ruined, unfortunately. So I guess that means, what about donations right now? Does that hamper storage and stuff? Should they hold off on bringing stuff?
I would have them call and talk to Camille ahead of time, just because that is one of the main areas that when they get some of the stuff that's overflow, they store it there until, something sells and they can pull it out and
or if it's a seasonal item, they keep it there until it's seasonally appropriate to bring it out.
Christmas, Easter, etc.
Yeah.
Call down, talk to Camille. She'll tell you whether she has room for anything large or small, just until we can get that fixed and back in operation of working. Her husband, Daniel, was working on it yesterday, trying to get the door fixed so that way it can open and close. So.
Okay. Well, with a little less storage there, that means if folks come down and start buying the stuff on the shelves now, that can free up more room to put some of these other things back on those shelves. And so they can collect more donations and make more money. For folks that aren't aware, the thrift store supports the Humane Society. And what do I mean by supporting? Pays for the utility bills, pays for vet bills for the animals. It pays for grooming or food, litter, all the things needed to
cleaning supplies, vaccinations.
To maintain a pet, all of that stuff. When you go and donate your furniture or go and buy your microwave or clothing or things from there, all that money goes directly back to helping save these pets. So it's kind of their catch-all. I mean, obviously you get some monies earmarked from various sources, whether it's grants or United Way or whatever type things. But that money is earmarked for specific things or there's not enough of it.
Unfortunately, there's never enough money in this world, but every penny counts.
The thrift store is really that saving grace for the Humane Society. That's that one area where people come in, shop. You got the regular customers.
That is an actual constant.
Yeah, and so the income that's generated from that is probably the main reasons why they're able to make sure these pets find homes. So by you coming and getting a deal on some artwork or furniture or something that you found pennies on the dollar there, you win by getting a cool thing at a cheap price, but you're actually helping and doing a great thing to help pets in our community here. And unfortunately, we need more people doing stuff like this because there's enough of the people doing what that other guy did out there that combat or mess up the good stuff that's going on. So killing them with kindness is the way to combat that, by coming back and saying, we're going to come back and donate more. We're going to come back and sell more. We're going to come back and find more homes for animals and things like that. That's how we combat that.
Or Sean's favorite saying, throw a pebble of kindness into a pond of nonsense. What, is that it?
Something like that. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I hear it in the mornings. Throw a pebble of kindness into a pond of nonsense or something. I'm like, where did you come up with that?
I was on a milk jug one time. Actually, it was under a Snapple bottle when you open up the Snapple.
I was going to say, missing person. Throw a pebble of nonsense.
Yeah.
That's more interesting.
Yeah. milk carton marketing. But anyway, but yeah, come out and so even if maybe you live in a spot where it's not ideal for you to have a dog. Maybe you live in an apartment or you don't have a fenced-in yard. Love pets and things. One way to support is through the thrift store there by coming and making purchases, donating when you can, and when you have things that are worth donating to. Don't forget the thrift store is not your junk disposal place either. If it's serviceable things, clothing is wonderful. Love clothing and all that, but if the clothing is you're getting rid of it because it's holey or just worn out, then it's probably not good for somebody else either. Now, if you're donating because I don't like green or this thing shrunk on me, anything like that, then please
the
come
wash
on.
machine and dryer hate me.
Yeah, exactly. Then by golly, donate it on in. We can, and if you're looking for clothes, by the way, a lot of people donate brand new for that shrinking reason I keep talking about. They didn't put it in the wash machine yet, and the thing shrunk on them. So so they bring them back a lot of time with tags still on them, things like that. So
we actually they have actually a lot of brand new like summer dresses still that have the tags. They still have a ton of them that are hanging up, and they have them like hanging on the wall. So that way, like when you walk in, you just see like all these pretty dresses. It's like, oh,
yeah.
And some designer purses, the Michael Kors knockoffs, Gucci knockoffs. They've got a ton of those right now.
Sometimes
so I
they're
think
the real
somebody's
ones too.
small store at the flea market closed, and I think they donated all of that stuff to us.
Well, that's nice of them. That's great because every little penny helps and all that. And occasionally you see not just the knockoffs, but the real Michael Kors and Coach bags and all that stuff.
I have personally bought one Michael Kors purse from the thrift store and one Coach purse from the thrift store.
Next time you get the Michael Kors bug, Kim, go over there instead of Dallas. It saves me a lot of money.
Just text. I will tell.
But and another thing, now we're getting into summer and people think about vacations and stuff. But here in about a month, kids are going to think about going to college or going back to college, and things like coffee pots and microwaves and beanbag chairs and just dorm furniture type.
Those things are so comfortable.
Yeah, and they're getting more advanced actually. Like some of them, like back in the day, all they had was those ones with those little white thingies that would always leak and end up all over your floor at some point. Now they got like way more advanced ones with weird scientific-y, foamy stuff. And
I don't know. Old school beanbags are the best beanbags.
Yeah.
They hurt when you knock somebody down with them, and then when you throw them on the floor and lay on them, they're still just as comfortable.
That's right. You take a beat and keep on being comfy. But anyway, if you're looking for that kind of stuff, that's a great resource for that because you can go buy it brand new and pay hundreds of dollars, or find it and pay pennies on the dollar on that amount.
And they've always got tons of coffee pots. They always get Keurigs. They get even the Mr. Coffee or, God, I can't remember the name of the other one.
Nespresso or what? There's a couple of those brands.
Yeah, it's one of the more popular brands. I can't think of the name of it. It's right up there with Keurig.
Nespresso, Braun, I'm trying to think. Anyway, I know what you're talking about.
It's one of them.
Okay.
But they get a ton of those. They always have like microwaves, toaster ovens, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Small
bedding stuff, like if you want like
sheets, blankets, curtains, pillowcases. If they get a set donated, they tape it together, write the size on it, so it's all together in one piece. They always have a ton of blankets, comforters, sheets, curtains, curtain rods, kitchen sets, like plates, cookware, all of that.
A lot of that's the stuff, like if you get your college scholarships and things, a lot of that doesn't cover that stuff. So you can, and so that's the stuff that kind of makes you able to eat something other than ramen for a meal while you're in college.
5 years of your college life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It really, and to be honest, college kids dog that stuff out. I don't care. There's no point in getting them the most expensive, nice thing brand new. It just isn't, because it'll get trashed. If it lasts 4 years, that's amazing. If it lasts 2 semesters, then you call it a win. All I'm saying is that stuff gets trashed. It's college. College kids do college things, and it's fun, and they do stuff. And so things like coffee pots and microwaves get broken easily and stuff. So don't go spend hundreds of dollars on new ones. Go to the thrift store, get it for pennies on the dollar. And then when they decide to use it as an anchor for something and it breaks, then you're not so mad.
Or
when
a
it
science
happens.
experiment,
Right.
you know, why you cannot heat a metal fork up with your ramen noodles in the microwave. If it's a convection oven, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But you have to turn it on convection and not regular microwave because it'll still blow up.
Yeah, that would be bad. But either way, that happens.
Those things are always plentiful at the thrift store. Clothes are always plentiful at the thrift store. That's their number one selling item is clothing. They always have a lot of good sales every day of the week. You know, they have the whiteboard. They write something special on the board for whatever the sale of the day is. They still do the senior day, 20% off. The military veterans day.
Great.
20% off. And then I don't remember what the third one was.
They used to have like the just like the bag sales or whatever kind of thing too.
Trying to think.
Seniors
Day, veterans and active duty, and then it was Saturday board sale.
There you go, the board sale on Saturdays.
So
BOARD, not BORED, just for point of reference for people. It's like that doesn't sound exciting. A board sale? No, BOARD.
Yeah,
like
whatever
board of
is
directors
written on the right board.
On the board
is whatever the sale of that day is. But and they've been doing sales on Wednesdays too because they've had a lot of clothing donated. So a lot of the sales lately have been on clothes because they get that donated more. That's the biggest item that's donated. And that's the biggest item that sells. But also, it's easy to go and get kids school clothes for $30 at the thrift store. When you go to Walmart, that only covers a pair of pants and maybe a shirt.
No, by the way, they're probably going to outgrow it in 6 months anyway.
Or if that.
Yeah. So why spend the brand new prices when you can get, and because what happened is you get some of those clothes brand new or practically brand new. The kid wore it once or twice and outgrew it. So now they donate it back. So now you get a pair of slacks or jeans or shorts or something for a kid that pay pennies on the dollar. And you're still going to get 6 months out of it because your kid grows, but it's sure better paying $5 for a pair or $3 for a pair of shorts instead of paying $20, $30 for a pair of shorts.
Right. And typically, like, all the clothes that they have in the baskets are 50 cents a piece.
Oh, see, I'm highballing it on them.
So if you go and you get 5 pairs of shorts, that's $2.50.
Mm-hmm.
So
you could barely buy us 2 sodas for that now.
You can't even buy 2 sodas for that. You can go get 1 soda for $2.49.
Yeah.
And that's if you get the small.
Yeah.
That's not even the good size.
Not even the 20-ounce jobber. Yeah.
Nope.
So, exactly. That's the point. And then, again, that money you just spent goes back to make sure those animals have food, their vets' bills are taken care of, making sure there's plenty of cleaning supplies to clean out the stalls and things like that. Making sure they got treats and fun things to do as well. That's what that money goes towards. So, another way to help out
is becoming a member.
And anything and anybody, your kids, your pets, the family, grandma, Uncle Lou, the weird uncle, all of them can become members of the Humane Society.
If you want to give somebody a gift who has everything that you don't know what to give them, sign them up for a membership.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course that. You guys do have annual meetings and things, so you do get involved in some of the process of running the Humane Society. But really, your membership supports the continued financially side of making sure these things keep going. And you get newsletters and you get all that stuff. But so there's perks. But really, the perk is you want to support animals in our community, and this is the best way to do it by becoming a member. Another great way to support is donating. Maybe you're like, well, I don't have any money, I don't have any coffee pots, but I got dog food, I got toys, I've got litter, I've got that stuff. Then bring it on by.
Yeah, just call us ahead of time. Let us know you're coming, so that way we can be prepared to help you unload it if you need help unloading it.
Mm-hmm.
Cat litter is always a must that we need all the time. Trash bags, because we got to carry the stuff out.
Absolutely.
33-gallon, 13-gallon trash bags. Those are what we use more commonly. Bleach, pine salt,
mops, brooms, all those things are very useful.
Because we use the parvicide chemicals for cleaning of the dogs in the cat cages. But that chemical also, eats through our cleaning materials, our scrub brushes.
So you go through it faster than probably a household would.
Yes, we would. And plus, we're scrubbing concrete floors and walls and chain links. So those aren't typically made to scrub those kind of things. They're made to scrub tile and linoleum.
And they're not cleaning up Cheerio spills either. It's all waste.
It is.
Or hair or a combination thereof.
Yes. So, they're put through a vigorous cleaning, and it's not that they get used once or twice a week.
Yeah.
They get used 7 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
all throughout the day. So,
I would imagine, cleaning's a multi-time a day thing at that place. Just
and
because that's
laundry
the nature
soap.
of it.
That's something else that we use quite a bit too, because we wash the bedding of the dogs, the blankets.
Okay. Do you have a preference on liquid powder, or pods, or any of that stuff?
Just the powder.
Just the cheap, buy the big box of Tide or, well, I'll say cheap, Ajax or whatever. Tide's a little
Arm
higher
and
end.
Hammer.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the powder.
I love Tide, but it's like 10 times the price of every other detergent out there. Everybody ever notice that?
Yeah. Just the powder, because it does not residue inside the bedding as much.
Yeah.
And so it's less likely to cause an irritant with any of the animals.
Gotcha. So it's more, I don't know if it's hyperallergenic or whatever the term is there, but yeah, it's softer, gentler for the pets.
It is.
Cool. Very good. Speaking of pets, how's the adoptions? How are we looking as far
We're
as
doing good.
supply of pets that are looking for homes?
Our supply is full.
Yeah.
We've got all of the kittens are now officially up for adoption. They have reached their weight.
Oh, good.
So we have a Siamese that has not been looked at yet, a gray and white tabby, and I think the other one is solid gray, like a blue Russian.
Okay.
The other 2 out of the 5 have been already pre-adopted. They're fixing to head out the door.
Good for them.
We have the Chihuahua puppies are finally at weight and up for adoption.
So anybody been looking to bring a little Chihuahua home to the family?
They're
Got
right
some?
about 14 weeks old now.
Okay. So then they're just of size or weight to be able to go home and live a regular life with the family there. So cool.
And medium, large dogs, we got plenty of those in stock. In stock. That sounds horrible. God.
But it kind of is that way,
yeah,
though.
Our stock of the day is, that sounds really horrible. But we still have Molly. She's the one that we got, which was in very, very poor condition.
Yeah.
Weighed 37 pounds when she came in. She's a very healthy 56 pounds little girl who loves people. Like,
Good.
She just has this personality. Even though she was treated so horribly, she does not hold that against anybody. She does not meet a stranger. She loves every person that
That's
walks
great.
out there.
And sometimes you get that where, it's like domestic violence victims. They build their walls and things. Animals do the same thing. And so that's kind of a little uncommon to see where someone that's a pet that's been through that much turmoil and comes through on the other side not impacted physically or emotionally as much as one would think. That being said, I'm sure that dog will be a great family dog and home. And if the more love you provide it, the more bonding and the more tight-knit that dog will be with your family.
I'm pretty sure she's going to be like the world's best dog that you've ever owned.
Yeah.
You find the people that come back with the stories that, I adopted this dog from here 25 years ago and that was the best dog ever.
Yeah.
This is going to be that dog for somebody to tell the story.
So if you're looking for a real companion dog, like one, even like you always see those stories of like that single person that takes their dog everywhere and goes mountain climbing and bike riding. I feel like this dog might be one of those dogs that does all that stuff.
We actually, Uma, which was the middle-aged healer corgi mix that I talked about last time.
Yeah.
She did get adopted by a gentleman who lives in between Hondo and Ruidoso in a small little bitty town. Well, he's a cattle rancher. So she gets to go with him on the UTV every single day to go check the cattle.
Nice.
And he's like, at first I wasn't sure how she was going to do. He goes, but shoot, she saw the ATV, hopped up in, sat down, and said, let's ride.
Yeah, right? They're like, this is fun. Let's do it.
So,
tongue hanging out, just having a good time.
And his son was so happy because he was worried about his dad living up there by himself.
Right.
And his older dog had recently passed away. Well, she just moved right in, fit right in, and just acted like she'd been there her whole life.
That's cool. I love that. I love when those stories happen.
Polly is going to be just like that.
So come check out Polly this weekend.
Yes.
Come see if Polly would be a perfect fit for your family. So
super sweet, super loving. She's not big. She's probably that tall from paws to shoulders.
So about 2.5 feet maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And happy, just loves everybody. Super, super sweet.
Good. Very cool. So please come see Polly today. Come visit. Maybe this dog will be your how old is Polly?
She's roughly 2.5.
Okay, so young dog.
She's still very young.
Got plenty of years ahead.
Loves
still got that
tennis balls.
Good deal.
And when I mean loves tennis balls, they last about 45 minutes and they're destroyed.
We had a dog that did love tennis balls too.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to donate tennis balls for her, please, we're running low.
We're running out. Good news is they don't have to be nice ones. If you just have like the old ones that, bring those along.
If you have ones that your dogs decide that they didn't like anymore, we'll toss them in the washing machine, wash them up, and then there she goes.
There you go. Have fun. So cool.
Because they will not last long.
Good. Well, and you know what? And the thing that stinks about that is they love tennis balls, but you're thinking, well, I need to get them something tougher. And they don't want nothing to do with that.
Nope,
they
do not. They want the tennis ball.
Yeah, so it doesn't help. They'll sit there and that thing will just collect dust. Whatever it is, and then you give a tennis ball, and then here it is, and destroyed 10 minutes later. But that's how it works.
Yep.
Any other pets we want to spotlight?
We still have the bulldog pups. They are coming on 7.5 months old now.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they are at full growth. They are not big. They're probably 25 pounds full grown.
Okay.
They're more legs than anything.
Okay.
Super sweet, super happy. They're all learning to walk very well on leashes, harnesses.
Okay.
So they're getting a little bit more training on going outside, walking at the park, and
so they're going to be good and people friendly by the time
they are very people friendly.
Someone's ready to take
a few of them are even so people friendly that they have the happy piddles.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Hopefully they outgrow those. They usually do.
They typically do.
Yeah. Our dog did it for about a year or two before she finally outgrew it. The piddles. She's a big dog, which is less common in the little dogs, but she did. She did. And it was the only time when she'd come home from work or get excited to meet someone new, she'd rear up on you and piddle away.
Yeah. We call that the sprinkler.
Yeah. Very good. Now, do remember that, as always, the Humane Society loves to adopt these folks, but these animals out, but they want to make sure it's to good homes. So if you want to adopt a dog from the Humane Society, they're going to check your property, make sure it's fenced in yard, making sure there's access to shelter and all the things that your dog has needs for. If it's a cat, basic, and of course, regardless of whether you get a dog or a cat, that pet will be spayed or neutered before it's calling your home. It will go directly from the kennel to the vet of your choice to be spayed or neutered, unless it's already been spayed or neutered, but then it won't. But if it needs to be spayed or neutered, that'll happen, and then you'll pick up the dog from your vet. With cats, same thing, spay on the neutered, but they got to be indoor cats. You can't, they won't let you adopt the cats if you're going to turn them outdoors into barn cats or things like that, because we've got enough feral cat issues in our community, and we want to keep that from happening by making sure these cats stay indoors. So that's because, let's face it, cats they're more susceptible to, like if you just turn them loose out there, they're more susceptible to bugs, to diseases, to, even if you feed them, they're going to eat on their own and find things they're going to eat. And sometimes they find things
supposed to eat.
Yeah, exactly. And they might eat something that they shouldn't be eating. So please understand that they want these as indoor cats. So, but if that all works kosher, please come down, meet the cats. Obviously, another point, if you do have dogs already at your home, there will be a meet and greet between this dog and your dogs to make sure your house doesn't turn into a war zone.
Yes,
when that dog gets
we
home.
want to make sure that everybody gets along on a neutral area before sending them home, because we don't want you to get home and it be World War III in your front room.
Yeah.
Now, there's going to be a scuffle here and there, and that's with any animal being welcomed into a new home.
Sure.
Because somebody has to dominate, somebody has to
It's all about
assert
territory.
pecking order,
Mm-hmm.
and then sometimes you have two very submissive animals that could care one iota. So depending on, if you got a dominant and a submissive or two submissives, there might be, a scuff here or there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we make sure that they're not going to shred each other on first introduction before going home.
Yeah, you want to make everything the most successful parameters possible for this adoption. So please understand that when you come by. I do want to remind folks to also go to roswellhumane.org. That's the website. You can go there and learn more about signing up to become a member of the Humane Society. Of course, all the pets that call the Humane Society home right now, there's a picture of them up there. If you do see not available next to the picture on the picture there, that means they're in quarantine because they're making weight or they're waiting on vaccinations or they just came new to the facility and they're observing to make sure the pet is healthy. Anyway, there's various reasons. It does not mean they've been adopted. So if you see a pet on the website and it says not available and you're like, oh, that's the dog, that's the cat I want, that's the one. And great, call the Humane Society, be a nice pest, but just say, hey, I saw this pet, I love it, how long, what's available, what's the story, talk about it, and keep checking in on that pet. And I tell you, the moment that pet's available, they're going to call you and say, guess what, Fluffy's ready, come get him, or come get, whatever. And that's a good thing because they want people like you that are going to be loving, maybe even doting parents. It's a little bit for these pets. So to see that's a good sign. So
we do, and like one of the kittens, recently that is getting adopted, which is we named her McGonagall off of Harry Potter. But she's an all black cat, and really people that are interested in all black cats, are not that many of them.
I gotcha.
So
most people think you're bad luck or something and avoid them, or then we've talked about what happens in the fall. So there's things in place to prevent that. But yeah.
So when we have somebody that is like, hey, you have an all black cat, we're like, but that's only normally around Halloween time that we're that super cautious.
Sure.
So this couple that is adopting the kitten has saw her on the website the day she popped on the website when she came in at weighing like 8 ounces.
Oh wow.
So they have waited this entire time emailing me every other day. Hey, how's she doing? What's her weight? Blah, 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 blah. So yesterday they finally got to do paperwork.
Oh, cool.
Super happy, super excited.
Yeah,
and they're
fun.
like, we're keeping her name. And I started laughing. I was like, oh, great. Because I love Harry Potter. And so I named all the kittens after Harry Potter characters.
So that one's going to stay McGonagall.
She's going to stay McGonagall.
Cool. Good. Well, that's how the Humane Society works right there. That's called the win. That's the success. That's exactly why the Humane Society is there. That's happy. That's great.
It is, and when you email us or call us and check in, it lets us know that you truly are still interested.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, oh, hey, how's this cat? And then you don't call back. And we're like, okay, maybe you weren't so interested.
Exactly.
So,
but when you got a family that's checking in every day or every other day saying, how's Fluffy doing? And then,
right.
Yeah, it's great. So, give out the phone numbers for the kennel and the thrift store.
For the kennel is 622-8950, and for the thrift store it's 623-9210.
Very good. And give out the hours as well.
Kennels are Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 12 and 1 to 4:30, and the thrift store is Wednesday through Saturday, 9 to 12 and 1 to 4:30.
Very good. And come out, see the pets. Come out today, see the pets.
Yeah, today's going to be a really nice day for weather. So,
and there's another thing too. I know like today's probably one of those good days, but if you'd like to volunteer to help out at the shelter, interacting with the pets when days like this, when it's cooler, taking them out for walks, things like that, all that helps integrate these pets to become more
adoptable.
Yeah, more comfortable around people, which in turn makes them adopt quicker. So it's a win-win. So. Well, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Hopefully they catch this guy that's lighting fires over there, and he's going to spend some time behind bars for it.
Yeah. A couple of the cops said they're going to hang out around that area just to keep an eye to see if they see him lurking around.
Good. Well, thank God no one was hurt. That's the big thing at the end of the day.
Yes, no animals and no people.
Yeah. So, all right. It is. Thank you, Crystal. We'll see you next time.
You're welcome.
It's 9:56. Quick news and break before we go.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Did you feel the ground shake? Well, lots of people did, reporting an earthquake that was felt in Eddy County, a timber measuring 4.5 magnitude, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. It was centered in an area south-southwest of Whites City, New Mexico. And then another 4.4 magnitude shaker was recorded 21 miles northwest of Toya, Texas. And that was followed by a 3.3 magnitude shake in the same area about an hour later. No damage or injuries have been reported with any of this activity. The Leadership Roswell Alumni Association choosing someone to receive its 2022 Community Leadership Award. A banquet at the New Mexico Military Institute is planned for June 23rd to recognize the honoree. This year's recipient, Jason Perry, a Roswell City Council member and local pastor. Perry will become the 25th person to receive the Outstanding Leader Award from the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Fewer Americans applied for jobless aid last week. Unemployment applications fell 11,000 to 200,000. Delta Airlines boosting its second quarter outlook.
The airline says it expects second quarter adjusted revenue will be back to pre-pandemic 2019 levels, and revenue per seat will be higher than originally expected. CEO Ed Bastian says travelers are paying more for any type of seat, from basic to premium. He says prices this summer will be up around 30% on average, a jump he says the airline has never seen before.
And that's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. OPEC and its allies, including Russia, have agreed to hike oil production by 648,000 barrels a day for the months of July and August. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical. Name to remember.
Jay Block for governor. Jay Block, conservative, veteran, leader. Jay Block is the only choice to stand up and defeat Michelle Lujan Grisham. Mr. Block is a veteran of combat, serving in Afghanistan, a nuclear commander, and winner of the New Mexico State Republican Convention. As an America First conservative, Mr. Block has turned blue seats red and has never lost a race. Mr. Block will end the madness in Santa Fe once and for all. He's not a weatherman. He's not a rhino. Jay Block is a conservative, veteran, and a leader. Vote June 7th in the Republican primary.
Paid for by Friends for J Block.
You are 13.8% more likely to die on your birthday. Think about that the next time you want to celebrate your birthday month. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It's closing in on 10 o'clock. That's going to do it for us. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Have an amazing day. We'll be back bright and early Friday morning for an all-new show tomorrow. Tune in. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk.